To the 1992 final series at Darwin, the grand final day. In front of a very large crowd, we have West Ulverstone now lining up, ready to run through their banner, and it says, "Let's go," in a blaze of glory. And these fellas have fought their way through. They look real keen, they look fit, and they're ready to hit the banner, and they go through her, burst through her. And while that's going on, we have the presentation of the reserves grand final winners in Yeoman. Yeoman 10-9-69 have defeated Yolla, who went through undefeated, right through to the grand final, which will be disappointing. Yolla 9-9-63. The weather is top class. It's a real good spring weather. There's a 2 to 3 goal breeze blowing down the ground. I've favoured West Ulverstone all year. They looked a bit gone there towards the end of the season, but in the last week or two they've bounced back. Yolla have suffered injuries and suspension to 2 of their key players, but they have got a very fit and able side, and we're in for a top class game today here, John Newman. As I said in the reserves, we got a top one. It was a 6-point victory, and I don't believe it'll be much more in the seniors because the tension's here. West Ulverstone are already on the ground, and by seeing probably or hearing that Yolla's seconds have gone down, might give them a little bit kick to say, right, if their seconds can go down, they haven't been defeated all year, that might just give them a little bit more fire to come on with Yolla.
Yeah, everything's pretty even on grand final day, irrespective of ladder positions at the end of the roster season. It's going to be a fairly tough physical game, this. The Yolla banner's up down there. They're waiting for the Yolla team to come out. As Lawrence said, the Lions, West Ulverstone Lions, have been out in the ground for about 5 minutes doing a bit of a warm-up. To see a bit of a...
lap of honour, John. And as we said, they're not a real light club in the association, but good luck to them anyway. We've got some good young fellas there, mixed from some of the older ones. That bloke at Tim's, I noticed, can hardly lift his legs. Well, he done a good job, as you said today.
Here comes the Yolla side out onto the ground, led by Captain Jock McCready.
I can't read their banner, John. Jock McCready, what a man. Over 200 games. You've coached him. He'd be one of the best footballers you'd probably ever coach, wouldn't he?
Yeah, one of the best.
Look you square in the eye and say, you tell him what to do, he'd go and do it.
Never played a bad game in his life, Jock.
And would not find a fairer man, John. If he knocked you over, he'd be the first man back to pick you up. And I've seen, over the years, I've seen, especially in final series, I've seen a lot of opposition teams go for him because they probably believe, like a lot of others believe, he's a top class leader. And it makes you wonder sometimes when, as I said, a bloke like McCready, if he knocked you over, he'd pick you up, and you wonder why they would go to try to knock his head off sometimes, John.
Yeah, good fair player.
Yeah.
Be a big occasion here for a couple of these younger players from Yolla today.
Smith, John.
Yeah, vice captain, Mr. Cool at centre half back. I think
John.
Terry Dobson,
Very surprised. I never ever knew this fella played football.
No, he's had work commitments most of the time, and he's been retrenched or finished his job right down the southwest. He's a very good footballer. He's got a lot of ability.
Chris Burton, John.
Yeah, Chris has come up from the reserves.
Was probably best on the ground in the second semi-final in the reserves, John.
He's played a fair few games in the seniors this year. Probably should have been there all year.
Ernie Stratton.
Yeah, Ernie's got the best pair of hands in the Darwin, I believe. A good big player, Ernie. Might lack a little bit of pace, but what he lacks in pace, he even matches with Endeavour, and like I said, he's got a good pair of hands, good strong mark.
The other fella I was looking at there, young Marshall, his father played under you, Big Mally, Michael.
Yeah, young Michael. Young Michael kicked the last goal of the game in the second semi-final.
Sorry, John. Another one I don't know much about is Randall.
Jeff Randall, yeah, Jeff will be out there somewhere. I haven't seen him in the reserves today, so he'll probably come up to take Robert Taylor's place.
If you look at Stephen Watts, as we mentioned on the radio this morning, John, 107 or 108 goals, and that's been a top effort from Wilbur.
Yeah, a pretty dirty day out here, and he's a second semi-final. It's a big occasion. He's a fairly big occasion player. He should lift his game here and be probably a focal point up there for Yolla this afternoon.
Darryl Beamish, what more could be said about Darryl, John? He's another one in the Jock McCready mound. Doesn't know how to try and play a bad game. Always having a go. And their captain coach Peter Johnson. Johnson dishes her out, but my word, he takes it too. And
I think he's carrying a bit of a neck injury at the moment, actually, but he'll be out there when the chips are down, and he'll be leading by example. You can guarantee that.
Have a look at West Ulverstone, John Cusack, represented the Darwin this year. He's not. When you have a look at him, you wouldn't give two bob for him as a footballer in looks, but got a safe pair of hands and not a bad backman, or if he's required to go into a ruck.
Usually plays a ruck role, playing defensive across the half-back line, saves many forward thrusts from the opposition clubs.
Matthew Buckley.
Yeah, good strong player, Buckley. He upset a couple of the Yolla players in the second semi-final.
That's the name of the game, John.
Yeah, no doubt he'll be out there to continue that good work.
Heathcote, number 7, John. Pretty impressive him last week. He's another bloke who's always been in our first half, a dozen players, mostly Heathcote, along with White, number 14. Them two have been up around the best half a dozen players all year for him, and I'll be looking for big things from him. Tony Smith, number 18. He played a pretty good game for him last week. Rover, along with Shane Burgess there, vice captain, who's been brought back who's come back in the side after having an illness. He was the first finals game was last week, and he's a pretty classy little bloke who's pretty nuggeting and not frightened to win and get the ball. Yes,
he's got a lot of intestinal fortitude, and his brother Adrian Burgess is also along the same mould. There's not much ability-wise there, sort of thing. He's fairly even, fair sort of a footballer, but what he lacks in ability, he definitely doesn't lack in heart. I think they'll be the keys, getting the ball out of the centre out here today on the wife no ground.
I still believe, John, but have a look down the ground now. The other fellow I was going to talk about, and he is going back to the back line, is now I've lost him, is Porter. Porter's a centre half back, and I believe for West Ulverstone to be in this game, he had to play there.
He had a very good final series. Porter, pretty good footballer, a fair bit of experience playing with Penguin for many years. Big occasion player, Porter, and I think him and the duel between himself and Robert Crick will be probably the key to the game.
Phoebe, another one. I'm looking forward to his game, and also Barnes and Stafford for West Ulverstone. John,
about the ball up. Yep.
For the 1992 final.
Ferguson in ruck for Yolla. Barnes gets the first tap down. West Ulverstone are kicking towards the railway end, and Yolla losing the toss, I believe, and kicking towards the C end. She's a bit scrappy there at the moment. There'll be another ball up. Centre half forward position for West Ulverstone.
Yeah, I think you'll find umpire French won't take any mucking about today, John. As you know, we've got the send-off rule in the Darwin, and I reckon as any Yankee-panky, you'll find a couple of them might be sitting the game out here today.
He's probably out there to make a bit of a name for himself. He's been noted pulling the book pretty quick, but
Yolla are going into attack, but the ball's being brought back, and it's going to be a free kick, John. And it's
Burgess.
Going to go to Shane Burgess. Shane Burgess kicks towards centre half forward. Out they come. Underneath the ball, Barney Howard overrun the ball. Ricky Slatter with a quick handball over towards Barker. Barker tapped it back towards Ferguson, who's under pressure. Picked up by West Ulverstone, kicked towards centre half forward. Stephen Smith surrounded by West Ulverstone players. Long handball taken by Brett of West Ulverstone. Screws a Hawkwood looking kick around. And here's Barnes of West Ulverstone, who's in I thought he was in a different number, John. Number 44. Ball thrown in half forward line. West Ulverstone, up they go. Ferguson and his captain jumped in front of him. The ball's pushed out towards the West Ulverstone's goal square. Nobody goes, and somebody goes in fairly solid there. There'll be a free kick to Brett. Players coming in remonstrate, and that's the way to do it. As Ferguson picked up Barney out and said, "Get the way, Barney, if you want to muck about." There's a 50-metre penalty going on here, John. I think Yolla fellas just want to settle down and don't take any of the hanky-panky. Let this fella have the kick of gold and get on with it.
This sort of thing usually happens in grand finals. Someone will get a free kick in the first 5 minutes, fair in front of goal. I'll probably try and even her up here a bit.
Brett's the man.
See Johnny Barber and Jock McCready having a bit of a barney out here. I think Barber might be the instigator of all this. Jock's a pretty fair player, as we said beforehand, so umpire French is out there having a bit of a talk to the boys, but...
And the main thing, John, here is West Ulverstone, a 1 goal straight 6 points, are leading Yolla, who are yet to score in the 1992 DFA Grand Final. And the ball has been brought back to umpire French.
Yolla forward line's fairly open up there, but different story than the reserve. There's only 6 people standing in the forward line.
Umpire Burrows is ready to slap the ball into the turf once again. It's a poor looking bounce. Up they go, nobody can get it. As ball's worked out, is pushed along into that cricket pitch area, John, which you spoke earlier of, should never be in the middle of this ground. There's stacks on the mill, and there's about 3 West Ulverstone players there to 1 Yolla.
Phillips out there, number 45 with a knee bandage, should relish these conditions. Head-eye tackle, he must get a free kick. No, she's a ball up.
Called him if by magic then, John. You mentioned him and the ball went straight to him. Ball's bounced up. It's grabbed by shark by Phoebe. Phoebe gets his kick to the ball, doesn't go very far, but is required measured distance for a mark by West Ulverstone on the half-back flank. In they come. Kick towards the wing, John. It's not a bad-looking kick. Underneath it was Cusack. He couldn't get it. There's a free kick to Yolla, John, and that umpire's right on the job. It's good to see.
Barney Miller that was, China.
Miller swings onto the right boot, kicks towards the outer side of the ground. In the lead for the ball is White. Pushed along towards the boundary. Being followed by Mott. This Mott's not a bad looking footballer either, John. He's a bit of a goer too.
Yeah, he had a few grabs in the last game I saw him play.
Ball thrown high in, onto the wing. Tapped out there, taken by Shane Burgess. A nice handball, but it goes to nobody in the end in particular. But West Ulverstone are trying to work it out. It's grabbed by the big fella in Fraser. Kicked back towards centre half forward. Barney Howard gets underneath it. Taps it over his head towards number 18 for Yolla.
Stratton.
And that'll be Stratton. He looks a bit slow at the moment, Stratton. He looks a bit bulky, mate.
Oh, he's fairly big boy sort of thing. He's not noted for his pace, but he's got a fine pair of hands. And
he probably should have run around this track a couple of times. I reckon I might loosen him up a bit. Ball thrown in again, getting plenty of height for their throw-in, John, but no distance. Up she goes anyway, grabbed by Peter Johnson. He was pulled right round the head again, and then John.
No free kick.
No avail, no. And the umpire was right on the job, so he might be in a better position than us, but I know where a man's head is and where his shoulders is. Ball thrown in again on the half-forward line. They go up, nobody gets it. Grabbed by McCready, over the top to Smith. Smith's cool as you like. Handballs it back, but Burgess intercepts, kicks the ball out in mid-air, and Barney Howard's marked it. Barney will go pretty close, John. If he doesn't, he'll lob it right dead in the goal square.
Yeah, he'll land it straight in the square, if not through the goals.
In comes West Ulverstone's captain coach in Barney Howard. Favouring the drop punt kick. Kicks. It's touched off the touch ball, John. Grabbed by that man himself, Darrell Beamish, who seems to be playing for 100 years. Marked by Phoebe, a poor looking kick. Intercepted by Matthew Buckley. Jams it onto the left boot. Over the top, John, I think it's gone through for 1 point. That was well intercepted by Buckley again. Ben, and poor play for Phoebe.
Yeah, Yolla's fallen into the trap of playing this short fiddly game again. And this all-important grand final had done the same in the reserves and cost them dearly. Got to kick long and clear out of this back line.
Well, Yolla have got such a long good match. Interrupting me there, Matthew Buckley, a good solid mark. Played a good game last week. John was always the fella at the bottom of the pack knocking the ball out the little fellas. In goes Buckley. Kicks to the right boot, long towards the square. Up they go, nobody wants it. Out in front after the ball for Yolla was Miller. Miller's still going after, and that's good play, John. He's got 2-1, and he's still come out with it. He's tackled now by West Ulverstone. Darrell Beamish, good play, Darrell Beamish, as he swings out of the pack, but he's been dispossessed, and the umpire, John, said you dropped the ball. It's taken by Shane Burgess. Kicks towards centre half forward. Up they go, nobody can get it. Grabbed by Stephen Smith. Smith onto the left boot. Kicks towards
Tommy Sherman and Jeff Barber in the race for the ball.
Barber, and this will be a good clash, John. I thought Barber was ill without the ball then, but to no avail. Taken by Heathcote. Heathcote across to Buckley. Buckley chips in short towards the big man himself in Barnes. Barnes wasn't paid. Grabbed by Burgess. He kicks towards goal. Darrell Beamish, John dropped the sitter, but still had time to recover. Picks it up, kicks it out towards Phoebe, who's going to have 2 to beat. But he's too good for the big lumber and Fraser. Phoebe jams it on the right boot towards centre half forward. Rockcliffe overrun the ball. Underneath the pack there, John, and there's a free kick. Rockcliffe come out with it. A good hand pass, but Yolla fellas couldn't get it. Kicked off the ground again, once again by Rockcliffe. My word, he's really wanting it, John, and he hurt this.
Yeah, that free kick. He should have had it half an hour ago.
Johnny Rockcliffe has got the ball right in the dead centre of the ground. They'll pass it over to the big man himself, Johnny Newman.
Rockcliffe plays on, kicks a long left foot kick up towards half forward line, looking for Watts. Watts overruns the ball. Comes out to Terry Dobson, who swings onto his left foot with a little chip in. But Porter from West Ulverstone's taking a good mark in defence. He goes towards centre half forward on to Burgess. Burgess with a strong mark. Plenty of time to take a look and kick. Kicks long straight to Rod Barker, who should be awarded the free kick after Cusack run in front. Tips her out to Smith. No, he's been pulled back with it. Poor umpire, and he should have let the ball go then.
I think he just likes putting his authority on it, John.
Comes back to Rod Barker, centre half back position for Yolla. Chip pass into Robert Crick at centre half forward. Well in front of Porter that occasion.
Is Crick lined up at centre half forward, John?
In the back there. High tackle on Burgess. You're going to get a bit nasty here if the boys don't get the idea on the ball pretty smartly. Burgess goes back, takes the kick after a strong tackle, head high from player Watts, I might think it was. Cusack overruns the ball, should have marked it, comes to Rod Barker. Buckley goes in with the fist. You'll get yours, Buckley. Goes over the back, nearly a good mark. Ball's been forced out of bounds.
The old saying that, John, here's where we heard it from right through to school to where we are now, 40 years of age. It comes to those who wait, doesn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes they're not always good things. Johnson sharks the ball, kicks the ball long up to the forward line. Who's leading in the race for the ball there? Comes out to Phillips. Phillips 2-1. He streets ahead of him. He's run 70 metres and he's gained possession of the ball. He kicks it back towards the centre to where Ferguson and Stretton are. Ferguson falls over. Bit of a scrum.
That was good play down by but the umpire's pulled out a tripping free kick with 3 men laying on the ground, John. That one's hard. Anyway, Barnes with the ball onto the right boot. Kicks towards centre half forward, and young Ferguson, who's leading their big men at the moment, John, although it's early in the first quarter, a merry dance. Kicks long towards the centre of the ground. Peter Johnson goes up in front. He couldn't mark it. Grabbed by West Ulverstone's player there. He handballs to the ground. Brought back. Puts the boot to the ball. And here he is, and it's Cusack has took the mark, John, and watch it, Yolla, you could be penalised 50. Cusack swings onto the right boot, kicks towards centre, it's to the square, punched away by the Yolla defence. Grabbed by Big Barnes, John, burst through the pack, and there's another one. Yolla, no score at the moment of trailing West Ulverstone, John, are at 2-1-13, and that was pretty good play from the big fella then. Johnny went straight at the ball, and he put her on the boot and put her straight through the eye, diddle-diddle.
Yeah, that's the way to play this big Wivenhoe again. You've got to go straight for the ball, and 9 times out of 10 will come to you if you're fair dinkum enough about it.
It was a bit confusing there, John, where that ball come from, because there was 3 men laying on the ground. The umpire paid a free kick for tripping. I thought you had to be standing up before you could be tripped, and the ball was under him for quite a few seconds before he pulled that, so a bit confusing at the moment. He didn't say anybody was grabbing a leg, so...
Anyhow, they usually even it up.
That's the way she goes. Umpire French slaps her into the turf. Up they go. It's won by Fraser. He knocks it down to Buckley. Grabbed by Stephen Smith with a handball out towards this young
Tommy Schumann.
Schumann onto the left boot. Kicks towards the wing. It's grabbed by Heathcote. Heathcote onto the right boot, and he is found.
Johnny Barber.
I called the wrong player then, John. It was White who brought off the half back line there. Anyway, there goes the kick towards the forward pocket. Taken by Rod Barker. Rod Barker out towards Ernie Stratton. Ernie Stratton handballed it back over his end. It's gone out of bounds. Some of these West Ulverstone fellas, because you're not real sure of them, John, is hard to pick up, because living in the district, us fellas, we can pick up the Yolla blokes easy. Anyway, umpire throws her in. Throws her eye. It's grabbed by Jock McCready. A good handball over the top to Beamish. Beamish onto the left boot, doesn't travel very far. In they come. Oh, and my word, a couple of heavy clashes went in there. A lot didn't have their eye on the ball then, John.
Good play, McCready.
And look at this. That should have been penalised 50 metres then for what happened then. Anyway, McCready, the only man who wanted the ball, kicks it long towards the wing. Over to you, big fella.
Good grab there from Crick. Well down from centre half forward. He's looking for some support upfield. Ian Walker, it's his first touch, and he's knocked arse overhead straight away. There's a bit of a pack form. And there'll be a ball up. Could have been a free kick there to Walker, I think, for a high tackle.
I can't can't see, John. I'll have to pull this winner out in a minute, mate.
Crick gets a tap down to Phoebe. Phoebe with a miserable sort of hand pass over to Tommy Schumann. John Barber dives on top of the ball. Gets it out. Phoebe goes in, tackles. Probably tackles too late. Walker. Johnson with a trick shot round his back over to Rod Barker, who puts in a good pass, but it's been taken by that number 14 from West Ulverstone in white. Good one-handed mark. Read that well.
Playing well across that half-back line, this fella at the moment, John. This is about his 6th kick, it is. He kicks high towards the wing. Cusack gets himself in front. He couldn't take the mark. Barber taps it towards Heathcote. Heathcote couldn't get it. Stacks on the middle on the wing and umpire.
French.
No, that's not umpire French. He's too good looking for umpire French. That fella, that's umpire Burrows. Comes in and says, gives a real lad. I want to slap down that. It's not a Sharon anymore, is it, John? It's a Faulkner. Up they go anyway. Fraser knocks the ball towards the boundary. And it's taken over the line by Schumann. No, it's on the forward. Must have come off the West Ulverstone fella's boot there, John. And,
can't quite see for the crowd round the boundary line. But,
I would say this near be a record crowd by looking at it, John. Anyway, it's Tommy Schumann, is it, John?
Yes.
Takes the ball and kicks towards the half-forward line. Creek went up, he put his head down, and here's that little fella burst his way through, and that's a terrible decision. His young man wanted it, but I suppose he was nailed, John, and that's the way it goes. Matthew Buckley with the ball on half-back flank for West Ulverstone, kicked towards the wing. Rod Barker, Cusack over back, he couldn't hold the mark. He gets it out cleverly to Shane Burgess. It went on to Barber. Barber give it back to Shane Burgess, and there's a push in the back, John, and it was well seen by the umpire.
Slater will kick this proverbial mile.
Mark Howard should have been in front then. Slater kicks it long towards the centre. Matthew Buckley's under it. Nearly pulled in a good mark there, John. That's a free kick and it's around the neck. And the ball will come back. It has to come back and it will go to number 30 of West Ulverstone. That is D. Mott. Sounds more like Mutt, John, doesn't it? Here's the ball towards...
There's Barney Howard running in an open goal square, uncontested, and he's nearly at the post, but she's straight through the centre with about 5 centimetres to spare.
Well, at the moment, John, West Ulverstone are attacking the ball. They've made it their object, the same as Yolla. The breaks have come West Ulverstone's way at the moment, and West Ulverstone's 3-1-19. A leading Yolla, John, who are yet to score. As it was in the seconds, it's not a real pretty game to look at the moment, but as you said, they never are. And the breaks have come West Ulverstone's way, and they've been going for the ball, John, and the dividends are paying off for them.
Yes, they've been lucky. They've been in front. They've played it fairly hard so far, and they're winning the majority of the free kicks that's been given so far in this court.
The ball bounced up in this 1992 grand final as it's taken by Peter Johnson. He handballs it to Barney Miller. Swings the ball into centre half forward. But here's that man wide again, John. And a good courage mark. Come out and met the ball, front on and took it.
Yeah, Marshall too slow coming out of the blocks there. You can't mark him from behind.
Cusack set and a good strong mark on the wing by Cusack. West Ulverstone looking good, the goods at the moment, John. Early in this match, they are the ones who have took the initiative and settled down. Cusack kicks towards centre half forward, a wobbly looking kick. Nobody really wanted the ball. Kicked off the ground. Mark Howard spilled a relatively easy mark. Taken by Stephen Smith. Handballs it high in the air. Punched on by Buckley. Brett in the van. He couldn't grab it. Schumann's chasing the ball. He's and him and Brett, and no free kick. Jeffrey Barber was playing for free kick, and he has got it. No, I'm sorry, it'd be Matthew Buckley. Buckley was on the bottom of the pack then, where he spends most of his time, with somebody else usually. And Matthew Buckley got in there and earned the free kick and showed him the way. And that's a nice looking kick, and here he is. This fella kicked 7 goals last week, John, and he's a pretty good opponent, footballer, this boy. Mark Howard, nephew to Barney. He'd be about 30 metres out, John, and he'll be lining up for West Ulverstone's 4th goal. And if he kicks this one, it puts Yolla that far behind, mate.
Yes, they're not looking too good at the moment.
And I think it might be a let-off, John.
Yeah,
yes, that was a bad miss. You can't miss those ones in grand finals and set shots like that, John.
No, he should have done better than that. Let's see where Slater kicks this ball to.
Slater should have played here before. John will go up the centre, I reckon. Yes, he does.
A good drop punt kick. Clears the 50-metre mark. There's been a free kick picked out to young Ferguson from Yolla. Ferguson should just drive this along up towards centre half forward where Watts is making a lead. Now he's come out to the flanks. Crick's in the box seat. Up for the mark. Punched away by Porter. Goes to ground. Burgess tackled by Tommy Schumann. Have to be a ball. No, there's a good tackle there from Rod Barker. And he's played ball. Free kick there to Rod Barker. Yeah, and the tide's turned. The free kicks are starting to go the other way in the second half of the first quarter. Goes to Rockcliffe. He's dispossessed.
Big kick off the ground there. John's right down the ground it went. Out comes Ernie.
Ernie's threatened.
Didn't do enough. Stephen Smith forced a handball wild. Grabbed by Barney Howard. Barney Howard turns around one way, this way. Kicks it into his own man. It's battle out there by Ernie Stratton again. Kicked off the ground by Schumann. Nobody can pick the ball up at the moment, John.
Good shepherd there from the West Olsen players to allow the backman.
For West Olsen, kicks towards the full forward line. That should have been a mark or a free kick there, John, but nothing's paid. Anyway, the ball's on the ground. Mark Howard can't bend down and pick it up and stacks on the mill. John, I've noticed very early in this game that at the moment Shane Burgess is on top of the game, Yolla's little man.
Having a good run out of the centre there, gaining many possessions. He's going to be the key man for West Ulverstone, I think.
Perhaps his fitness might tell. John, he done this last week and died at the game.
Oh, I think
anyway,
he's
Johnson over the top to Daryl Beamish. Beamish can't get the ball. He's got 3 men to beat. Knocked on by Brett of West Olds along the boundary, which was good play, John, to keep the ball in. But Jock McCready grabs the ball.
That's a free kick.
Handballed over the top, knocked on by Rod Barker, grabbed by Schumann, who taps it out. And there's a free kick to Miller there, I feel, on the ground, but umpire comes in.
I think Yolla's getting the rough end of the stick here, but things should even out towards the first part of the second quarter, I'd imagine.
Umpire Burrows comes in to bounce the ball on West Olsen's half forward line. Knocked out by Cusack. Only as far as Jock McCready, the Yolla captain, he kicks towards the wing and camped underneath him and taken an easy chest mark is Barnes. He's a good player, this fella, John. I'm pretty impressed with him. He's a big boy, but at the moment he doesn't know what to do. He's looking for a lead. He goes into centre half forward. And out comes Barney Miller and takes an easy mark uncontested. Miller swings on the right boot. Chips it over to Popsy Phillips. Phillips is on the run. Well done, Phillips, as he dodged around a tackle. He looks out there for number 50, and that's Terry Dobson. Dobson's all alone as he runs towards goal with the ball. Fires it in, John, and a very bad kick, as you call it, a mongrel.
Yeah, he should have done better there. He had 2 or 3 players he could have kicked to. Michael Marshall should have been leading straight towards him rather than towards the goal square, I believe, and poor kick there from Terry Dobson.
West Ulverstone 3-2-20, John, on the big scoreboard, a lead in Yolla, not yet the score.
Rockcliffe over to Phoebe. Phoebe has a snapshot and he's kicked to behind.
So Yolla have opened their account for the 1992 grand final, John. 1 point trailing West Ulverstone 20.
Poor showing so far from Yolla halfway through this first quarter, only having 1 point on the board.
What do you feel about West Ulverstone, John, going in for the ball like a lot of people might have expected them to go in, Adam, but they've gone for the ball, mate.
Yeah, well, that's where you win the game of football, and I think...
Here's Buckley. He's the fella who comes under the microscope of a lot of people playing well. He marked the ball. He handballed it off to Jeff Barber. Barber chips it into centre. Burgess handballs back to Buckley. Buckley, a sloppy handball, and that's well intercepted by Schumann. Schumann on the left boot, and Jock McCready, John, starting to pick his workload up too.
Yes, he's had half a dozen kicks so far in this first quarter. Watts has got the ball.
Kicks it in towards Watts. Watts chips it in to Phoebe, either a mark or a free kick. And
that should be 50-metre penalty.
There from Yeoman, John.
Should have been 50 metres there. Phoebe was manhandled after he'd taken that mark.
A bit of colour in the jumper, John.
Could have something to do with it, I'm tipping.
That's well done by West Olsen, sharp the well end. And it's marked by Tony Porter on the boundary. Porter swings it onto the right boot. In towards the centre of the ground. Up they go.
Good mark, Rod Barker. Should have been paid.
Should have been paid, but it hasn't. It's taken by Yolla. Handball by the coach.
Yeah, that'll be right.
Free kick, and they blow the whistle and they play it on. I don't know what's going on here, John. That confuses me at the moment, the umpires. He couldn't pick it up, and that was the coach I'm talking about in Johnson. Being well grabbed, and he's gone. That was a good tackle. Bye-bye there it was to Barber. He had nowhere to go, really, Barber. I think them umpires at the moment in the last minute there, John's very confusing.
Yeah,
they're blowing the whistle. They don't know what they're giving free kicks for.
Jock McCready comes in for about his 10th possession so far this quarter. Goes long into centre half forward position. Phillips nearly pulls down a one-hander, but there's no one there to back him up, and the West Ulverstone defence clears the ball.
That was Mott once again, John.
Out towards Miller. Miller and number 22 for West Ulverstone in Saltmarsh, having a great duel out there on their flank. Ball's been pulled up by the umpires, and they're going to have a ball up.
looks nice and thirsty over there, John, on that scoreboard, the big Foster sign.
Yeah, well, I think Yolla need a bit more than Foster's just at the present moment, China. A fairly dismal sort of a performance so far, midway through this vital first quarter.
Peter Johnson picks the ball up, John from the half back flank with a long kick towards the wing, and it will be out of bounds over there. It was a pretty good effort from that.
Yeah, good clear and kick under pressure there from Johnson.
It was a good effort by the young West Ulverstone player over there in Barnes to take the mark, but he failed. Anyway, it's knocked down. Jock McCready bursts his way through the pack, chips the ball over. It was too long for his man, but Creek, by God, that's good play, John. He had to go around his opponent, swings it into the goal square, but nobody there. That's good tackling by Yolla, and they keep the ball there, but that was top play by Creek over the outer side of the ground then, John.
Probably should have went for the square rather than centred the ball, I think.
Yep. And on the big scoreboard, we have West Ulverstone 3-2-20, Yolla 1 point. The ball thrown in, taken by Cusack of West Ulverstone, kicks high in the air. This fella's having a bit of a dip, John. This Schumann jams it onto the left boot. Nobody can get to it, and Porter will see that over the line in the right forward pocket for Yolla.
Yeah, young Tom never got much distance with that kick. He could have done possibly a little bit better. They got to drive it in long and hard, straight towards the goal square, especially in this vital first quarter with only 1 point on the board. Phoebe with opportunity. He knocks it back. White clears the ball for West Ulverstone. Comes back towards Barber and Tommy Schumann. Tommy Schumann wins out yet again.
That was a lot better kick. He squared it off to Jock McCready. Jock has one bounce, turns around, straightens up from centre half forward, kicks long into the square.
And
Big men go up, punched away by Porter, grabbed by Barber, and there's a fight out here on the wing here, John. And Barney Howard tried to take the head straight off Peter Johnson.
Poor play that. Barber started all that, and now the...
We'll watch the ball anyway, John. They're fighting everywhere here, mate. It's grabbed by Barney Miller. Barney Miller bursts across the ground. Fires in towards the goal, and Potsy Phillips dropped an easy one, but he swings around onto the left boot. Straightens up, fires towards goal, John. And out they come, and Porter, no, you can't have the mark, Porter. The ball's in front. Ian Walker slaps it onto the right boot, fires a goal as a point, and the fight down in front of it has stopped, and I thought that was pretty bad umpiring and poor head hunting there, John. I only caught a glimpse of it. Peter Johnson's very lucky he didn't lose his head then.
Well, someone has down there on the ground. I don't think it's a Yolla player. Probably the bloke that started all in the first place. If that's what's happened, well and good.
There's a West Ulverstone fella down. He's in the hands of the trainers. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the football as Porter kicks short and he finds his teammate. He kicks towards Cusack. Cusack steps. He's caught with the ball. The umpire blew the whistle. That was a long hand pass from Johnson. Comes into Phillips. Phillips unloads with a left foot towards goal. They're underneath it. Porter went back for the mark. He couldn't take it, off the hands of the pack and through for a point. This fella down here for West Ulverstone doesn't look real good at the moment, John. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, well, I don't like to see things like that happening on the football ground. People shouldn't be knocked about like that, but anyway, I think he might have been the instigator of all of that. So
back to the game there. John has been kicked out by Porter and marked by Mott out on the outer flank for West Ulverstone. He's got no leads coming, so he goes long down the ground towards the half forward line. There's two West Ulverstone out there to one Yolla. And that was a great mark taken out there by Jeff Barber. I think it's Jeff Barber, or it might be Saltmarsh. Saltmarsh anyway kicks it down the ground and marked by Cusack, who broke away from them two when I was there, John. Swings around with a big, hoary looking, flogged looking tall Peter, I don't know what to call it.
Good mark from Ferguson.
Ferguson takes a good grab at centre half back. Ferguson turns around, swings on the right. Oh, he kicked it into the man on the mark, and it's grabbed by Matthew Buckley. Straightens up, bang, goal. And West Ulverstone 4-2-26. A leading John Yolla, 3 behind, 3 points.
Yeah, well, they're sticking a bit of dirt in some of these jokers out here, and that bit of a tap on the back there and a bit of a laugh from young Howard there on Craig Ferguson. I don't think that was quite called for. Bit of spite creeping into this game out here.
As you call it, John, the game's football. And
yeah.
I don't know what sort of a breeze is out there at the moment, John, but I don't think it's that sort of a breeze where West Ulverstone get away there. They've got 2 goals from mainly attacking the football. That was well smothered. Ferguson didn't give himself enough distance. That's where it come from, John.
Lack of support, vocal support from his fellow backman, I think, in that situation back there from young Ferguson.
We're still down here, John, and this fella's in the hands of the trainers still. Somebody's holding him up, some wag in the crowd's holding up a crutch to see if he really needs it or not. The crowd are singing out to get him off, which is not called for, really. and they carry him to the boundary. I see the police are down there too, John. So this fella might be. He seems conscious, all right. He might have rolled a leg or an ankle. Anyway, back to the game. The ball's bounced, grabbed by Burgess for West Ulverstone, kicks towards the half-forward line. Darwin Beanie's dropped what he should have took. Cusack hassles him, but he gets away from Cusack. Barney out. He's going after the man and not the ball, I feel. Barney, the old man. Anyway, grabbed by Schumann, kicks towards the centre of the ground. Peter Johnston. I reckon he's still suffering from a neck injury there, John, and I tell you what, that Matthew Buckley is moving about as quick as I do, John. I think there's a few players, if you check him out at centre half forward while the game goes on.
It's only a matter of time, I think.
Kicked up towards the half forward line. Here's a break for Yolla. Number 24, he's been scruffed. And 1 point.
Too slow, Michael Marshall, to get the foot to the ball.
I don't like the way Matthew Buckley's moving there, John. I think he's got a leg injury there. I seen him on the lump. He tried to chase Peter Johnson and he was limping. Anyway, the score is West Ulverstone 4-2-26 are leading Yolla 4 points. And we wait for the West Ulverstone full-back Porter to bring the ball in. Kicks towards Burgess. He dropped an easy mark. And if it was cricket, I'd go down and bash him with the bat. And that's had a bounce on the half-forward line in Yolla's favour. John, been a physical hard match. Couple of dishes out, but still that's the way she goes. You've got to weather the storm, and there goes quarter time. Scores and a quarter time, as I said a moment ago, it's 4-2-26 to 4 points.
Some of the Yolla players are walking about there with their hands on their hips. They're a bit shell-shocked. I think it's been a pretty good first-up quarter from West Ulverstone. They've gone in hard. They've upset some of the Yolla players.
It's a typical grand final, John. Going hard. Both sides have dished out a little bit. Umpiring decisions both ways been a little bit confusing, but still they're like players. They'd be a bit nervous. It's a grand final. I like the endeavour of some of West Ulverstone players at the moment, John. That last goal, as you come there, Ferguson had no support from his players. The West Ulverstone fellas smothered the kick. The one before that, Barney Howard got an easy break, got another goal. And at the moment, as you said, it's paying dividends. They want the football, they're playing hard. And Yolla have got to get up there now. Not so much talk about it. They've got enough experienced blokes there to John to know what's going on and get their fingers out and start giving it to it.
I think they'll lift. We'll just take a break there and we'll be back at the start of the second quarter shortly. We're ready to go again.
You ready to go? Welcome back to the 1992 Darwin Senior Grand Final. Johnny Newman. The score is West Ulverstone 4-2-26 at quarter time, are leading Yolla, the favourites, 4 points. Yolla have just got to pick their workload up a bit. They're smaller men, John. They've been out blanketed at the moment by Burgess, mainly Burgess, and are getting beat in the big man department.
Yeah, Rockcliffe, Dobson, Walker haven't had any influence on the game whatsoever so far, so...
Here we go. West Ulverstone. That man Burgess again gets the ball across to his brother, I think it is. Is it John in Adrian Burgess?
Adrian, yeah.
The ball knocked out over there on our forward line for West Ulverstone. Kicked off the ground by Yolla. Matthew Buckley moving very slow, but that man Burgess again, that man Shane Burgess, got the ball. He's sprinting away from him over there, John. Got onto the right boot, kicks it in the centre half forward, and Cusack at the back of the pack grabs the mark. Cusack on the right half forward flank for West Ulverstone, should swing it in deep, he does so. Right out in front of the square, the big men fly. Iota back, Barney Howard, the coach. Can't pick it up, it kicks it off the ground, John. He's going to get a free kick or a goal here.
I think they'll pay the goal.
And it's all clear, and Barney Howard in the first minute of play has kicked West Ulverstone's fifth, 5-2-32. Leading Yolla 4 points. John, and Yolla are a bit shell-shocked, and so are these people around the boundary.
Yes, I don't think anyone expected this. If anything, it could have been the other way, but this is a real good first start to the second quarter from West Ulverstone. They're leading the game now by 5 goals, just about quite comfortable.
And it come from Burgess again. Johnny chased the ball out to centre, followed it around the boundary and got it to him. Anyway, up they go. Fraser got the tap down. Peter Johnson's in the band. John, he's injured. He can't bend down, mate. His neck is sore. Anyway, it's grabbed by Saltmarsh. Handballs at the Burgess again, who screws it back into the full forward position. And Mark Howard out in front, John, has taken a great grab. West Ulverstone are on fire.
They're looking good at the moment.
Looking the goods here, West Ulverstone.
Take his tips, mate.
Mr. McCall could be on a double here, John, you never know. But it's early in the game. A long way to go as Mark Howard comes in, fires from 45 metres out, John. And there's another one. West Ulverstone, 6-2-38, John, a leading Yolla, 4 points.
Starting to run away with this game, West Ulverstone.
Yes.
Demons will have to pull something out of the bag here.
Your comments in Friday's paper was, John, whoever got the initiative first, settled down, would win the match. And I'll tell you what, and West Ulverstone have grabbed the initiative and leading by 34 points. And that's a big lead in any match, and especially in the grand finale.
At this stage of the game, and Shane Burgess has been the linchpin so far.
My word, he's put in a big match. Up they go. Yolla knocking away. Comes towards centre half forward. This man's having a go as Creek. Gives it across to Watts. Watts up and under kick. Straight up. Went fur high and what did along. Punched away. Missed by Watts. They don't seem to want the ball at the moment, Yolla, John. Taken by Porter. Porter handballs the ball on the Mott. Mott kicks it in towards centre half forward. Out comes Rod Barker. He overruns it. Picked up by Cusack. He dodges and weaves. A handball goes out towards Burgess again. Onto the right boot. Chips it in on a nice pass. And he found Brett. Brett in a forward pocket for West Ulverstone. Deep into attack. He goes back now. Lines them up. John, and if they kick a goal here, she's a
little bit too far out, I think. I think you're looking for a big grab in the sticks. That's a nice kick.
That's a big long kick, and it's straight, John. I think he might have goal.
Yes, he's got it.
Yes, he has. Brett has kicked his second. West Ulverstone 7th, and they run away at the moment, John, leading by 40 points. 7-2-44 on the big scoreboard. The Yolla 4-4. No goals, 4 behinds, 4 points. And
that's a big lead in this early stage of this second quarter.
My word, and West Ulverstone are going on with it. Yolla, John, just don't seem to be with it, do they? They look slow, and they've had a week's rest, so, you know, these fellas have come for hard matches. Here's Bucky with the ball. He gets the handball off. It goes out to Tony Smith for West Ulverstone. Smith kicks in towards the forward line. Leading in the race with the ball is Barney Miller. Hits it out in front of the no, the line it goes. And my word, you know, there's a big crowd around there. They're about 6 deep around that boundary, John, and a very subdued crowd at the moment that side of the ground. And if
it's not much noise coming out of the Yolla quarters.
No, you look across there at West Ulverstone, there's only a sprinkling of people. And I would say, John, we'd near be playing they'd be playing in front of a record crowd in the area today, wouldn't they?
Very good gate out here as Tommy Sherman runs out of the back line with the ball. Clearing kick. There's no one out there for Yolla. It's all West Ulverstone.
Stumpy Clark it is.
Ball might beat him out of bounds. No, he's knocked it back in.
You got too much time, John. And he chips it into that man.
Shane Burgess is in it again.
He's eating them alive here at the moment, John.
Going in with a lot more commitment for the ball, the West Ulverstone players.
And nobody picking up over there, John. And I think he might have chipped it back to White, who's out there on the other forward flank. The breeze, John, we thought there might have been a big one, doesn't seem to be upsetting either side. He chips it into, that is White now. John, I had the wrong man. It was Stumpy Clark and received the ball back. But it's a free kick there to Yolla. I don't know what for, John.
Clark played on and he was tackled.
The umpires are making a bit, and there's a 50-metre penalty, John. I'm still in the forward pocket and they've got the ball in the centre here. I might need a Tosca. Hey. Here's the ball kicked down towards centre half forward for Yolla. Up they go. Burgess again. John, that's his 20th kick, I reckon.
Had plenty of possessions.
Marked by Stumpy Clark. Stumpy Clark on the right boot. There's 2 idiots down the front. Got nothing better to do to make a noise.
That man Buckley's got the ball in the centre. He'll kick it long. Looking for Howard. Howard comes out. He's in the set position. He gains possession now after dropping the mark.
It was good strong play, John.
Good smother. Glenn Phillips on the left foot. Changes directions.
And it's out towards about the only Yolla fella who could hold his head up at the moment, John, and that young
Tommy Sherman. I think they're playing a bit too wide, Yolla, to go straight up and down the corridors of this big ground.
They're getting blanketed to centre half forward as it's taken by White. It is. Chips the left boot into Stumpy Clark. Now, that fella's got more bandage on him, John, than a good trotter, and nobody seems to want to be on him. It was a kick towards the forward line and a big mark there.
Should have been paid to Slatter.
Play on, said the umpire. And a stacks on the mills on the right half forward flank there for West Ulverstone. John, about the only one, as I said, who could hold his head up at the moment for Yolla would be that young Schumann.
Schumann and Jock McCready's trying their hearts out for Yolla, but unfortunately they're two of the only players out there that seems to have any influence on the game whatsoever from the Yolla camp.
Cusack for West Ulverstone. Kicks in towards goal, but is marked there by
Stephen Smith, the vice captain.
Smith in towards centre half back and watches well down the ground, John, to mark the ball. A scruffy looking kick, a floating kick out towards the wing. Phillips couldn't get it. Barney Miller's got it. Barney slams on the right boot and that's gone out of bounds in the forward. That's the story today at the moment, John. Nothing seems to be going right.
Adrian Burgess will take the kick for West Ulverstone. Kicks it long up towards half forward. Ferguson's in the box seat from behind, punches it clear. Watts was in with a chance. The ball's been knocked out. And there's been a ball up. A bit of a pack forms and the umpire has chosen to ball the ball up. We've got Watts, Miller, Ferguson and Phillips on the ball there for Yolla against the West Ulverstone players. And Buckley, Fraser a good tap out. Buckley got the kick away. And it's been saved in the last line of defence for Yolla through Andrew Stretton. He sets the ball up. Walker comes up over the back of his own player, Phillips. Comes to Ferguson. Ferguson barges his way through the prac with a handball. Miller gains possession. Handball over to Phillips. Now we're in with a bit of a show. Phillips, a long kick in towards Terry Dobson. Dobson keeps the eyes on the ball, but it's been forced through. Good defensive play from Adrian Burgess from the West Ulverstone back line.
A bit of a smack here behind the play again, John. One player was knocked down, Miller, but he got up, dusted himself off and kept going. We wait now as West Ulverstone to bring the ball back into play through Adrian Burgess. Kicks the ball long out towards his ruckman. Up went Ferguson, he missed it. Whacker Walker, undisciplined play, but they got away with it. Burgess, John, in there battling for the ball, picked up by Buckley. Kicks it square ways out, and Buckley's been dropped. And there'll be a free kick, and it'll be taken by Matthew Buckley, or will it be paid up here? No, Matthew Buckley is to take the free kick. And John, if you have a quick look, there's not one Yolla man on his mark. Now young Fraser, Marshall decided to go on it, which could nearly cost him 50 metres then. Buckley kicks it into the breeze. You can see it holding up with a bit of a breeze there, John. So the West Ulverstone are doing a great job at the moment. Out comes Brett, leads in the race for the ball. He didn't want the ball. As Barney Miller come through. That man is number 18, and that is Tony Smith. Now he turns around and swings onto his right boot. And it's been marked over here by Stumpy. Clark is doing a lot of damage since he come on. He plays on. Handball's over the mark. Howard, and Mark Howard has been played. A free kick, and I tell you what, they're very, very lucky. But they never received the 50-metre penalty then because Stumpy Clark was thrown down when it wasn't. Good
kick of the ball, young Mark Howard. He'll kick this long.
Well, here's lobber into the ocean if he gets onto it, John.
He'll aim for the left-hand goal post and he should be able to kick this straight through the middle.
It's a big kicker swinging, John, but it's not enough. John, he didn't aim it enough. He should have come this way a bit. West Ulverstone on the big scoreboard over there, a 7-3, 44, 45, a leading Yolla or a 5 miserable points. And you can say miserable, John, because it has been a miserable game at the moment for him.
That's a good 65, 70-metre kick out from Slatter. You're looking for McCready over there, who's starting to come into this game again in the second quarter. He kicks it up towards Dobson, but the West Ulverstone defence is too strong. Bit of a skirmish over there, and the ball's been knocked over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in. Well, the Yolla players will want to perform a little bit better than this if they're going to close that big gap up at this early stage in the game.
It's a big lead, 40 points, John. They need it. They need a couple of goals. They need them quick. Anyway, here we go. West Ulverstone Burgess. I reckon that'd be probably his 20th, 21st kick at the moment, John. That was punched away by Watts over there, away from his opponent in Stumpy Clark. It'll be out of bounds on the far wing. Yolla, 5 points, trailing West Ulverstone, 45. 40 points of difference. There's a throw in by the boundary umpire. Oh, up go the big men. Punched down by the West Ulverstone ruckman. Out comes McCready again, battling well. Feeds it off to Watts, who's standing in the centre. He takes the mark. He should swing around and give it into Phoebe, but he doesn't. He elects to go along with the ball. Out comes Schumann, was it?
Marshall. Phillips on the right foot.
Phillips on the right foot.
And he's kicked a goal.
Much needed goal for Yolla, John, and that wouldn't be over putting it, would it?
No, they need that one.
5-11. trailing West Ulverstone 7-3-45. That was a good goal too, John. He was under a certain amount of pressure. He swung around and put it through, and that was a...
Yeah, he kicked it on his wrong foot. Phillips is normally a left footer.
That was a class goal from...
much needed goal from Yolla.
Yolla have got to get a bit of drive. I don't know with Peter Johnson there. I still think he's suffering from the semi-final injury he received, John, in the neck. And
no doubt that bit of fracas earlier on would have slowed him down a bit too.
Another one. He's playing about his third game for Yolla, isn't he? Or second game, and he hasn't had much match practice. Anyway, on with the game, because West Ulverstone are doing it on the bit at the moment. Out comes the ball towards Burgess, has been swapped, but he gives it across to his brother. He drives it long in the centre half forward. Over the back is an old master himself, Barney Howard. Handballs it out to the nephew and said, have a feel of that, son. And he turns around the right boot, John, and he's blew another easy one, that fella.
Yes.
2 in a row.
Easy goal, that one. He should have had that one. 20 metres closer that time.
I reckon when Barney dies, I don't reckon he'll leave the nephew much in the will he? Probably leave dirty old jockstrap and a pair of socks. Here's a big kick out, John, towards the centre of the ground. But underneath it is Mark Howard. He knows how to mark it, mark by name, mark by nature, John, but he's not a real good kick with it. Oh, and a shocking kick. But look here, unmarked players, John. Tony Smith has marked the ball within scoring distance too.
Oh, I reckon he'll lob it on the square, looking for the big mark. Here we go, she's up that area. Saltmarsh.
Up they go.
Saltmarsh comes down with the ball.
That was a good tackle, John, and that was well umpired then. It was well tackled by the Yolla backman in Barney Miller. Oh, you don't praise him too much. A shot and kick, and it just made the line. Yeah. Wish they didn't have that older Sidgy. Everybody should be. Here's the ball anyway. Comes back towards the wing. Was interrupted by Rudy by 2 gaming people. The ball's handballed by number 7. That's Heathcote, John. Towards the boundary, out of bounce it goes. Yolla, 1 goal, 5-11, a trailing West Ulverstone 7-4-46. Boundary umpire throws the ball in high. Up goes Peter Johnson, has got to do to Rucken, and that's good play, John. Although it was a bit wide on Phillips, and Phillips is a battler. Oh my word. The boundary umpire's getting on that. Now he wants the 3,500 to 4,000 people, probably more here to say that he's here at the game today, John.
Yeah, I suppose he's in a better position than what we are. So I know.
Nice hairdo anyway, I like it. He had a nice long throw in. The ruckman wrestled for position, is grabbed by Brett. He nearly threw it out, yes, and that's good umpiring. Phillips plays on, umpire called the advantage onto the left boot, a good kick in towards goal, marked by Terry Dobson. Turns around and cash as you like, John popped it through, and that was good play from Yolla. And that comes from Phillips again, John.
Yeah, Phillips is coming into his own in this quarter. He's taken off from where Jock McCready left off, but it's going to take more than 1 or 2 players to pull Yolla out of this predicament.
Not a bad tipster. I've nearly got the second also, man.
What price did you get? What price did you get?
We got no prices this morning. John, as you say, they always say she's not over till the fat lady sings, and I think she just pulled her dress back over and she said the show's not over yet, boys. Yolla, 2-5-17, a lead in trailing West Ulverstone 7-4-46. Ball's up. Cusack he didn't want that ball then, John, but he got away with murder. Anyway, the ball's knocked on. Cusack said, I'll have her this time, Mr. McCall. I'll give you a knock me. Kicked high in the air, punched well away, but look at the boys around there. Daryl Beamish couldn't get the ball, but he's all West Ulverstone there against him, John. And I think it's called the numbers, 3-1, 3 of them. And look here, knocked on the Barney Owl. Barney Owl turns around and screws it back, and he's kicked another one, John. And that's called the numbers game there. 3 blokes on the one, all right through there.
Yeah, they run right up the side of the ground then to back their coach up. They've done a pretty good job to get that goal.
That would be Barney's second now, John, and West Ulverstone 8-4-52. Yolla 2-5-17. That was a goal that Yolla did not want him to get, John.
Let's see who can win this centre bounce and see if they can get a bit of momentum in the Yolla side. It's won by Ferguson, but he's tapped it straight to Burgess. Burgess with a good long kick up to the half-forward line. Rodney Barker's up there from Yolla. Spears it back along the ground. Over to Tommy Schumann. Tommy swings back onto his right foot. Sets it up in the centre, but it's all West Ulverstone. Mott takes a good strong mark. Fair in the centre of the ground. He'll kick long, straight to centre half forward. Cusack's up there. He muffs the kick up. Buck comes down to Jock McCready. Barney Miller. Barney Miller passes over towards Dane Phoebe. An awkward bounce for Phoebe, but Phoebe and Watts is there. Chipped it over to Watts. Watts has been caught with the ball. Umpire calls play on. West Ulverstone player, 21. Brett kicks the ball out. Mott kicks up cleanly. Howard had the pressure put right on him. Saltmarsh. Tony Smith takes the ball now, puts it up to his coach in Howard, but it's over his head and Slatter wins possession. Slatter's down, over to Ferguson. Ferguson taps it out in the path of Rod Barker. Rod Barker wants to kick quick. He's been caught. No talking whatsoever there from his fellow teammates. Burgess kicks the ball, runs up, kicks the ball to Barney Howard. And Barney Howard takes a strong mark 5 metres out from goal on a slight angle.
This could be another nail in the coffin, Johnny. And that all come through what you just called. Then Rod Barker running. There was 4 of them running. Sherman had his hand up. John for the handball. And Rod Barker had a quick look and decided to take an extra step. And he paid the penalty.
A bit too casual. Lack of talking up there from the Demon defenders. Howard lines the ball up. Kicks straight through the ball. Goal umpire doesn't move. West Ulverstone running away with this game here at the present moment.
Third, West Ulverstone's ninth, 9-4, 58, John. A leading Yolla, 2-5, 17. And that is a big lead of 41 points. John Yolla got those 2 quick goals and looked like getting back into it, but in West Ulverstone, they've said you can kick and we can too, and they've jumped right back into it. Umpire Burrows ready to slap the ball into the turf again as they're doing a bit of wrestling, the little fellas. It favours West Ulverstone bounce, but Ferguson up and won the tap. Grabbed by Peter Johnston. He slams it over the right boot. Porter stands his ground. Knocked on well by Terry Dobson. So leading the race for the ball between him and White, who's played a solid game back there at the moment. Knocks along the boundary, and Heathcote couldn't control it, and the ball is gone out of bounds right on the half-forward line for Yolla. Umpire throws the ball in. It'll be Creek and Barnes to go for the tap. Neither win out really. Barnes might have, but it goes to the ground. It's grabbed here by Potsy Phillips once again, and here's Porter, a bad man to lead by himself in the back line, John. He's got the ball. He dodges 1, dodges 2, swings around onto the left boot, kicks towards the centre half back position, knocked away by West Ulverstone, grabbed by Phillips again. Phillips didn't have the ball, but McCready butters up, handballs it across to Rod Barker. Rod Barker onto the left, and he finds Tommy Schumann. Schumann, 60 metres out, kicks long towards goal, and that's a good kick. He's unloaded it right to the goal square. Up went Porter. He couldn't take the mark. The ball hits the ground. Somebody socketed it off the ground, John, and it's a goal. And that was kicked by Watts by the looks of it. And Yolla, 3-5-23, trailing West Ulverstone 9-4, 58. And that was a much-needed goal. And I don't know who kicked it on.
No, I think it might have been Ernie Stratton.
Ernie Stratton.
Either Ernie Stratton or young Watsy.
I thought they went up and tapped Watts then, but you'd probably be right because I was at the back of the pack. You're a bigger bloke than me. You can see out the top of it.
Must be close to half time here now as we take another bounce down. Ferguson must win this tap for Yolla. It's a good bounce. Yes, he got it down again, but that man Burgess sharks the tap. He's playing a marvellous game for West Ulverstone, Shane Burgess.
Gutsy mark here by Darryl Beamish, John. Wouldn't know what was coming at him then. He just turned his back on the ball and ran with the flight of remark. Jock McCready, John, is playing his heart out for his side as he runs and kicks it long bomb into the forward line, and it's going to beat the players and go to bounce. He's playing his heart out, Jock McCready, John.
Yes, he's had a pretty good first half of this game so far, but unfortunately his teammates are letting him down around the ground. It's a mighty captain's effort, but
besides him and Schumann, the only other one who's lifted their game to try and help him's been
Len Phillips on the half forward flank.
It's taken by Phoebe, one of his rare possessions, and same with Johnny Rockcliffe, one of his rare possessions, John. These two have got to lift their game because, as you said, Ferguson's winning the tap out in the centre, and Burgess is just caning them at the centre.
Sharking the ball out of the centre nearly every time. He's playing a hell of a good game, Shane Burgess.
Back to the old-fashioned play, don't you? Man them up in the centre.
Exactly right.
Porter kicks out towards the half-back flank, and a nice mark taken by Cusack. As I said, Johnny doesn't look a real... When you look at him, he's a skinny, scruffy-looking bloke, but he hasn't got a bad pair of hands. The ball's on the Tony Smith.
Takes a good leap.
Here's that ball, Glenn Phillips spent it before he got it, but that's well butted up, backed up by Ferguson. One of the few times they've been backed up today. Gives it across to Johnson, and Johnson kicks it in Ernie Stratton. That'll be one of the only times I've seen Yolla fellas back each other up was then when...
yeah, a bit of good shepherding there from Glenn Phillips.
Yep.
To allow Ferguson to hand pass over to Johnson. Let's see what Stratton's going to do with this.
Distance, John. He stabs at the ball, John. That wasn't a bad effort, but I think he's only registered it behind. Yolla, 3-7-25, a trailing West Ulverstone, 9-4-58. I still won't give it away yet, John. I still reckon Yolla have got a bit to show because not many of them are put in at the moment. Porter, a scruffy looking kick. Nearly found his man in Stumpy Clark, but it's taken away by that man in John Barber. I think it's John Barber, John O'Neill.
John O'Neill.
But Yolla rip it back pretty quick, and it's going to be a free kick here, John.
Rockcliffe's in for his second kick. Nearly at half-time period in this crucial second quarter.
And the reason he got it, John, was because he got on the bottom of the pack and wanted it.
Played in front, possibly the first time so far today.
Saying Yolla need this goal is an understatement, John. In he comes, kicks a goal. Big
Looks
Creek
good.
Likes it. And that's all cleared on the goal umpire says. And Yolla, 4-1, 4-7, 31. A trailing West Ulverstone, John, 9-4-58. My calculations brings it down to 27 points. And within striking distance.
Yeah, they've narrowed the gap. It looks better than 40 odd it was at quarter time. So ball comes back to the centre there now. Ruckman line up. Umpire about to put ball down. Burgess has been manned up by Johnson on this particular occasion. Phoebe wins the ball out of the centre. Johnson's in the bag and kicks the ball off the ground towards Rockcliffe. He'll swing back onto his left foot. Got nowhere to go. He has a bounce running the wrong way. Drives the ball across to Tommy Sherman, who takes a ground grabber. Knocks the ball on. No one home there for Yolla. Johnson's been barrelled. Ball comes out to number 6 for West Ulverstone and Stumpy Clark. He clears the ball round to the wing. Darryl Beamish is in pursuit of the ball, closely followed by Brett. And the ball's been knocked over out of bounds.
The ball dribbles out, John, out of bounds, as you said, and we're 5 minutes to go into this second quarter. 5 minutes left. Yolla trailing by 27 points. Them last two late goals really helping, but my word, West Ulverstone, John, have kicked 5 goals up in this bit of a breeze here, and that's got to be a bonus. Anyway, Yolla kick it around towards the wing.
Chris Purton takes a good mark.
Is he just come on the ground, John?
He's been out there for a while.
He swings around and looks for Creek. I thought Creek had been playing well, but they hadn't been looking for him, John. Creek turns around, swings around on the right boot, kicks towards the forward pocket. Peter Johnson couldn't mark the ball, and the umpire says, give her here, fellas, and I'll throw her in. Yolla, 27 points down. Desperately need at least 1 or 2 goals to really get back into this game, John. With 3 or 4 minutes left to play. Umpire throws it in and out on the half-forward line. It looks like it's all West Ulverstone over there, but bang goes the pack, Wilbur. Wilbur Watts swings it in, John, but he's got 1 point. That was a bit of classy play, then. He was another one that I haven't seen many Yolla fellas die through the pack today, but that was one bit of heck of play. He come straight at it, didn't he? And deserved more.
Yeah, well, he should have made better use of the ball then. He had perfect opportunity with no pressure.
Marking by Rockcliffe. The ball was kicked out from Porter and he gave it to White. White chips across to Matthew Buckley. He has died out of the game a bit, Matthew. I reckon it's his fitness. He doesn't look real good in the legs. He was probably kicking that. Up they fly, taken by the opportunity to Saltmarsh with a long sweeping handball which found Cusack. Cusack's under his side if he wants to handball or kick it. Chips it back towards centre half forward, and Saltmarsh has come down the ground, put up the hand, and she's stuck like glue. Saltmarsh, about 60 metres out. Poor looking drop punt, is going to drop short. Up they go. Mark Howard nearly got the second grab. And they called a trip on Darryl Beamish and they paid the advantage. Oh, he went in with the boot. I tell you what, John, you might remark I might be failing, but I think the Yolla might be looking the goods at the moment, even though they're 27 points down, mate.
Here's Joe.
Oh, that was well bottled up there by West Ulverstone. They got out of jail there, John. I might be wrong, but I think West Ulverstone might be looking a little bit ragged at the moment, John.
Yeah, they're starting to feel the pinch a bit. Their fitness will tell.
Anyway, Tony Smith marks, chips it across over there to Heathcote, who took a mark. Heathcote and half back flank, heads around towards our forward flank, and that's Stumpy Clark over there. Darryl Beamish has given him too much latitude over there, John, but he's nailed him that time, but he's still got his handball in. Saltmarsh, handball's over the top. So I don't know who, because we're a fair way away, and anyway it's kicked in towards a goal square, and somebody's been paid a free kick, John, and the free kick's going to go to Yolla's way, and it'll be taken by Slatter. Ricky Slatter in the last line of defence, heads towards this side of the ground, kicks towards his captain Jock McCready, took a good mark then, John. He plays on, has a look, handballs the ball. That was probably one of his only mistakes he's made all day, but he's going to butter it up. No, he can't get hold of Adrian Burgess as he kicks it back towards centre forward, and Barney Miller said, well, I'll go back and take the mark and butter it up for what you done, Uncle Jock. He kicks towards the centre of the ground, which wouldn't be real good ink at the moment, but it could come off. The ball's scooped up into the air. Tony Smith for West Ulverstone, pushing the ball towards Yolla's goals, which didn't help his own team. In they come. Matthew Buckley there buttering up. Should never have left his opponent. They've got the loose man going again, John. Cross it goes to Stumpy Clark. Oh, my word, that Cusack dropped the sitter. But Saltmarsh butters up for him and kicks it out of bounds on the full. That Cusack wouldn't have been playing cricket. John Knowles open ball, and I'd go and smash him by. That was a terrible miss, wasn't it?
Especially I'm not quite sure whether he tried to flick that on or mark it. I think he might have paid the flick on.
Here goes the kick anyway by Yolla out of defence, a long kick. And that was a good mark then by Buckley. Over the top of Peter Johnston. Buckley, wing position, outer side, chips it in short to centre forward to Mark Howard. Mark Howard took that too casually and paid a penalty of dropping the mark. And Barney Miller said, I'll have the ball, went for it and got it. He chips it across here to
Michael Marshall.
That's about one of his rare kicks. Jock McCready dropped what he should have taken, but he butters up well, plays on, swings it onto the right boot. It's two bad mistakes Jock's made then. John, you can't really pick on him, but he had nobody really to help him, and nobody to back him up. Well, there you go, and there you go, luck of fortune. Shane Burgess had his back turned, turn around and mark. He chips it into Matthew Buckley in the centre. Don't leave your man there, Chris Purton, as he let Heathcote wander down the ground and take off the ball. And Ricky
good mark.
Slatter, a great mark. And the umpire called play on, John.
Bullshit.
That was terrible. See, that was a good hip and shoulder from West Ulverstone then. But here we go. Yolla's defence is working overtime here at the moment, John. And he's going to pull a free kick to Barney Howard. And he'll take the free kick, or Barney Howard or Saltmarsh, no more than 15 metres out, John.
Well, he must be a bit closer to the action than what we are to pick one from there, because I didn't see anything there that warranted that.
Slatter might have, when he took that mark, John might have took a stumble forward to him, that umpire might have got the impression he was playing on. Anyway, here we are, Barney Howard lining up goal number 4 and goal number 10, more importantly for his side. Pops it through. West 10-4-64. Yolla 4-8-32. Yolla didn't want that goal kicked against them, John.
No, that's the last thing they've been looking for at this late stage in this second quarter. The crowd's starting to come alive here. The supporters are singing out for West Ulverstone, and fair enough too. They're leading fairly well in this grand final.
Yep, the grand finals are made to go around, as the saying goes, John. But as the old saying goes, it's fat lady, she's not over to the fat lady, throws that squirt up. And there's the half-time siren, John. And the score is at the moment, we have West Ulverstone 10-4-64, Yolla 4-8-32. And I suppose the only way you could sum it up at half-time, John, is that West Ulverstone at the moment are a little bit more desperate, or a lot more desperate earlier on than what Yolla were. Yolla started picking their workload up in about the last 10 minutes as best they looked for the game, because West Ulverstone haven't let them go and eat the ball.
Yeah, they've done a good job so far, West Ulverstone. They don't want to relax on this important third quarter.
At the moment, by far best on the ground would have to be Shane Burgess. He's put an outstanding game. I reckon he'd have at least 25 kicks at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been well backed up by Heathcote, White, Tony Smith. They seem to love him over there. I don't know why, because he got best on the ground here the other week and wasn't near it, but he's starting to pick his workload up. Mott number 30's hasn't played a bad game there for him either. Yolla, few and far between. Schumann, Jock McCready, Phillips, And my word, I tell you what, and the back line, I suppose Stephen Smith hasn't really done a bad job either. Slatter, but no one that I have goal kicked against them because they've had the ball shoved down their neck. They could have been further behind only for them, man. And Miller's another one who's played all right there.
Yeah, I think Jock McCready and Barney Miller's probably been the better. Jock faded out a bit in the second half of that second quarter, but no doubt he'll come back and lead by example.
He made a few bad mistakes there. I suppose the second one you couldn't call a bad mistake in the boundary then, John, because he was surrounded by players and he had to get a hurry kick in and went out bouncing the full. But he's had nobody to back him up. They're winning in the ruck with Ferguson, but they're getting flogged off once she hits the ground.
Anyhow, we better sort this Darwin Grand Final gift up. We're about to start the gift proceedings, so we'll...
This gift is the compliments will be paid by compliments of Mike Sage, John. You'd like to read the field out for us? We'll get the field done.
Natone will be represented by Dern Pease, South Burney by David Parker, Ridgely by Craig Denby, Yolla by Paul Smart, who incidentally he's played in the losing grand final side, Myella by Colin Prowse, Caprona by Michael Bramich, Sprint by Dieter Cratcheville, Yeoman by Lee Rees, and West Ulverstone Mark Saddington, and Somerset with Michael Chettle. So there's 10 good fast boys there. Should be a very interesting Darwin Football Association Grand Final gift.
Paul Smart has won a couple of these gifts in the last 5 years has been run, John, and he's been runner-up once. I'll tell you, it could be a smoky. The fella from Caprona, Michael Bramage, has got a lot of pace. I don't know if you've seen him play.
No, I haven't seen him play much football, but fairly lightly built sort of a joker. He should be in with a bit of a show.
And the South Burney boy, David Parker, has been thereabouts for the last couple of years. So, he's got to be up there with the rest of them too. The fella represented Myella when Wayne Denny won it from Milton Saltmarsh run third, but that was about 4 years ago, so he looks like he's put on weight since that little Prowse, doesn't he? Looks like a ring. It looked like they've thrown the horse away and said to the jockey, you take the field. But down there in the starters' hands, from our side, John, it'll be Somerset represented by Chettle, Myella represented by Prowse, Yolla represented by Smart, West Ulverstone represented by Mark Saddington, Ridgely by Craig Denby, Yeoman by Lee Rees, Natone, I hate those colours, I hate magpie colours, by Dern Pease, and the outside lane is Caprona, and that'll be Michael Bramage. John, quick selection, give us one of them.
Well, I think Paul Smart might be a bit of a favourite here. He's obviously be disappointed after losing the grand final in the reserves, so he might make an all-important effort here to redeem some pride for himself and his club in this Darwin gift run over 120 metres.
Hey, Podge! 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 Sit him down. Can't see. Sit him down. You might hear us yelling here, ladies and gentlemen, over this, but we're trying to get the finish line here. Being a big fellow, it's no use calling horse in his third. Lining up. Look a bit toey, John. Some of these boys haven't trained in a while. That Myella boy, I don't reckon he's ever trained. This is, as I said, by Mike Sage, who's been prominent man through sports, especially in cricket. He's donated the sash and the prize money, and it's a good worthy cause. John, it's something that happened at half time, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a spectacle out here actually. It's something that every club can be involved in.
And got quite a good crowd line up along there, John. You wouldn't want to make it, you wouldn't want to be the enemy, would you? And come along an outside lane, you could get a big coat hanger, you look like, wouldn't it? Come up here, you. We're lining up for the gift anyway. They're down. They're set. Hello. The starters got them up. There's a couple of kids over there interfering with the starters. What we'll do in a moment, we'll have an interview with Victor Bornstein from FM Studio Radio. They go back to their marks. Smart the favourite. Caprona could be in. Yeah, and I think that boy from this boy from Sprentbroke, John, this boy from Sprentbroke, he's still running. Well,
Let's go back and start all over.
He has to start again. I feel it was him. The big stick will come out in a minute.
That's not coming over, is it?
We're on camera. We're on camera. We're on that. Victor Bornstein's here saying we're not coming over. We're not supposed to come over. Victor, we'll go back to the mark. Good afternoon, Vic. I'll have a talk in a minute. As soon as we get the gift over with, I want your opinion of the game.
Okay.
Down they go again. Up, bang. Now away to a better start this time, Victor. It looks like South Burnie lead, but Smart breaks clear at the pack. He's won it twice already, boy. And the boy I picked for the outsider was Caprona. He's dodging along, but that Smart's just ran right away with it, Victor. Smart first from Yolla. Michael Bremage of Caprona looks like he got second, and it would be the West Ulverstone boy Mark Sannington. They looked a bit slow. Some of them, half of them probably haven't been training for a while, Vic, but as John said, it's something for half time. It's good prize money, and it's well donated by a man who supports Darwin, not only Darwin football and not only NWTCA cricket, but country cricket, and that's Mike Sage. And as times are going, you know, like card yards and that, he still finds time to put in. For
does an excellent effort, China does, Mike, and it's good to see Paul Smart running so well again. Like you say, last year there was a winner in the game this year, so he's pretty nippy over the 100 metres.
Yep. What's your opinion at half time at the moment?
Right, yeah, looking at the game, right from the word go, I noticed, China, that West Ulverstone were keener to go in for that tough ball, and they went in and picked the ball up a lot cleaner, but Yolla seemed to want to push the ball along and fiddle with it rather than actually take the one grab. But they settled down a lot that second quarter, didn't they?
Yeah, Yolla's had 3 tries at the moment. It's been Jock McCready and Schumann, and then getting into the game has been Barney Miller. Their back line hasn't played bad because they could have been about 15 goals behind at the moment. The only thing, the way to sum it up at the moment is the West Ulverstone are more desperate.
Exactly, spot on. They're more desperate, and I also think they've got a height advantage. But you must also pay tribute to their captain, Coach Barney Howard. He's Gary Howard. He's marked well. He's kicked 4 goals, and really has led by example.
Yeah, because Tom at Cater here at the moment. I took the aim and I've got 1 win on him, Big Johnny, and I'm going for another win. But yeah, they've been more desperate. We see the presentation of Sash over there to Paul Smart for his 3rd gift win. What we'll do, Victor, we'll close off now so we can give our camera lady a bit of a spell, and we'll come back for the last half. And as the saying goes, the fat lady hasn't even put the dress on yet to go out and stage a sing, Vic, so she could be a good rough last half.
I think it will be.
Right, catch you later. For the all-important last half of the grand final, the senior grand final, as we've said, at the moment, well, you can see she's split up the middle at the moment. West Ulverstone have doubled Yolla's score, 10-4, 64 to 4-8, 32. When you look at it realistic there, it's 14 shots to 12, so 2 less shots and 32 points down. Yolla in the first quarter had 5 points on the board, and probably 2 or 3 of them might have been goals, but that's the break in football, where West got those lucky breaks, and that's the name of the game. They got those lucky breaks, a couple of smothers, and they kicked a couple of goals, and they've rolled on from there.
Well, they put their bodies in too, they some of those lucky breaks, I might add as well, especially Shane Burgess there. I'm really impressed with his game. It's the best game I've seen him play. I've seen him play senior football with Ulverstone, played against him, and he's been the mainstream player out of the centre there, given West Ulverstone first use of the ball, irrespective of which ruckman wins the taps.
Yeah.
He's done a pretty good job so far.
You've got number 14 White now, half-back flank. Kept Yolla out in that first quarter there when Yolla was surging up the ground. Number 7 Heathcote has played pretty well for him. I'd say at the moment that Ferguson's nullified, beat their ruckman, Fraser and Barnes, but as you said, it's no use winning the tap if your Rovers won't man up in the centre, and that's the name of the game, the numbers.
Well, perhaps Ferg's got to change his style of ruck play, perhaps, because Burgess will shark most of the taps that he has won, and he's done a very good job in that centre. position for the...
Number 30, Mott too. Not much have heard about him. I haven't heard much of him either, Mott, number 30, but he hasn't put a foot wrong either. Porter plays his usually reliable game. Saltmarsh flashing out to play. Brett, couple of goals, and the captain coach Barney Howard's kicked 4, and he hasn't been around in their senior side for about 8 weeks, John. Them 2 reserve games he got under the belt in the finals, I might have just topped him off a little bit, because he was never going to be a fit man who was going to win a Bernie gift for a start anyway, was he?
No, he's done a pretty good job so far. I think he's got 4 goals to date, and he's read the play very well. He's got a couple of those from just standing back over the back of the packs and using his ability to read the play, judge where the ball's going.
Well, that's it.
Got easy possession, and that's all part and parcel of football.
Well, that is part and parcel of football, because I've probably seen a few times, John, yourself in the grand final stand here on one leg. But you like Barney. Barney's probably is not as tall as you, or might be, but you've had the height, and you don't have to have the speed. If they can get the ball down to you, you're with it.
Yeah, well, Barney's got the size and the ability in the pace, so I think we might see a bit different Yolla in this third quarter.
Yeah.
They're in a bit of a huddle at the moment. I think they'll be a bit more committed.
Yolla commitment. Jock McCready 1. A lesser known player in the Yolla side, Schumann 2. Miller, an half-back flank 3, and then Potsy Phillips in that second quarter started to get the game flowing and try to lift the forward line. Other than that, John, I'm not knocking him.
Ferguson's done a bit of a good job on the ruck there, but apart from that, there's not too many winners on the day there for Yolla. So
Other than that, although Slatter's had 4 goals kicked off him, John, he's done all right back there too, because I very much doubt if they would have been back there. And Stephen Smith, their back line's been under pressure. They could have been probably 8 or 9 goals down by now, instead of what they are. They're only 32 points down. It's a half a game of football. We've got 60 minutes. As you know, in football, you can kick 4 goals in 10 minutes. So this is going to really test the character of the Yolla Football Club, and not only them, this is going to test the character of how much forward West Ulverstone have gone in the last 2 weeks, or if the other games are taking a toll on them.
yes, only time will tell.
But when you've got 32 points, you've got to get in front, don't you? And here we go to start the second half of the 1992 Darwin Grand Final. Umpire Burrows bounces it down. Ferguson runs a tap. Jock McCready grabs the ball at the centre, kicks towards the half-forward line. And there's a bit of a story straight away, John. Not there where the ball is. And
Porter took a good mark there in front of the Yolla players. 2 of them.
Porter from the half-back line kicks towards the outer side wing. Up they go. 3 West Ulverstone over there again, John, to 1 Yolla, and it was well won by Barney Miller. Barney kicks towards the half-forward line, and Stratton and White was over there doing battle, but the ball beat him over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Back into play. Ferguson wins the tap, punches it straight down to the ground. Bit of a pack form. There'll be another ball up on Tippin. Yeah, it's a pretty scrappy start to this third quarter. Good football conditions, no excuse for bad football on days like today. Good tap out there by the West Ulverstone ruckman. Comes down to Buckley. Buckley's attempted kick out goes over the boundary line, touched, and there'll be another boundary throw in. Comes back into play. Fairly even ruck contest there, neither ruckman being a clear decisive tap. Punched out again.
The ball hasn't got out of there, John, for the last couple of minutes. Peter Johnson goes up, grabs it out of the air, handballs it off. McCready in there battling again, battling his heart out for his side today, but Burgess grabs the ball, handballs it over the top to his brother. He goes screaming down the ground with the ball, heads home towards full forward, punched well away then by Stephen Smith. Great defensive work, socketed further afield by Slatter. Buckley struggling to pick the ball up. That Phillips went through, he missed it, but as well backed up by Stratton. Stratton handballs back towards Rod Barker. Barker on the left boot. Jock McCready takes a good mark in the centre of the ground. Turns around, swings onto the right boot. Kicks it down towards the forward line. Creek was up in front. He couldn't handle it. Rockcliffe and Tony Smith running for the ball. Smith's first to the ball. He's been unloaded over there by Terry Dobson. The ball close to the boundary over there, and umpire's called for a throw in half forward flank. That looked a little bit better passage of play going down the ground, John. Ball thrown in. Up they go. Fraser beat Creek for the ball, punch it further afield. It's taken by Stumpy Clark and carries it over the boundary line for yet another throw in. About 60 metres around from the Yolla Golds. Yolla trailing by 32 points. Ball thrown in. Up they go. Nobody wanted. The little Rockcliffe had to go in there and contest, and he won the tap. He got out to his own player, who kicked it further afield. Stratton couldn't pick the ball up. West Olsen scrambled a kick along the ground out. Stumpy Clark been on his own ever since he's been on the ground. Nobody wants to know. He's probably got AIDS or something by the looks of him. Nobody's bothered to stand on him. He kicked the ball down and has gone out of bounce on West Olsen's half forward line. Nobody's been on that number 6 on there since he went on the ground, John.
He's got to have been getting a fairly constructive player for West Olsen.
Umpire throws it in. Up goes Fraser. Fraser knocks it down to Saltmarsh. Saltmarsh on the left boot. Kicks. Barney Howard with them first 3 steps. Handballs the ball in front of him. Appealing for the free kick, but not on. Schumann, who's been a good defender all day, kicks it back towards the half-back line. Miller tunnel balled it over the top of his head. Near volleyball. Knocking the ball on. Nobody can get the grab out there. Yolla fellas seem to be running around waiting for something to happen, somebody to give it to him, John. West Olsen spirit back in. Well punched away again by Stephen Smith. Picked up by his captain, Jock McCready. He kicks it down towards the half forward line. The bouncer loses everybody. Ernie Stratton in the race for the ball. Hotly pressed by Porter. Porter put him under pressure and forced the handball to go to West Olsen. Porter comes back, lucks a fortune, taps the ball along the ground in front of him. Burgess kicks the ball one of the many times he had today towards centre half forward. Barney Howard missed what he should have taken. Michael Marshall picks the ball up, just blazes away down the ground and nobody there to take the ball. Hit back towards the centre by West Olsen player there. Out comes Schumann again. Miller, I'm sorry. Miller grabs the ball, goes to kick it, slips from his grasp, picks it up and kicks it again. In towards the forward line. Could have been a free kick there, but Otley pressed his West Olsen, who are really going in. And yes, and that's a free kick. You had him over the shoulder.
Peter Johnson's been down for the last couple of minutes over there, being assisted by the trainers. Went up to that mark and landed heavily on his back.
And here we over here, the runner's in trouble over here. Somebody's punching the runner over here, John, and this is not on. This is not called for, John. I think Peter Johnson's been punched. That's what I think he was. Or
Johnson fell down and hit his head on the ground. And
well, here's
further injury. Anyhow, we'll watch the football. He's on it still. In towards the centre of the ground there. Good strong tackle, and there's going to be a ball up.
Them 2 runners should be put off the ground for what they're doing there, or over there wrestling and fighting and going on, John. Involving players and all.
Well, the umpires are in control of the game.
They've steadied it down. They've got her all under control. Up she goes again on the wing. Saltmarsh, the ever elusive Saltmarsh. Props, grabs, runs around with the ball, kicks. Well done, Michael Marshall. Punched the ball away. Picked up by Chris Purton onto the right boot. He looks in towards Jock McCready. Jock, that's not becoming of you, but still, that's a mark out there. Yeah. Another full down in front, rattling on one of those reserve medals. I don't know why these Yeoman fellas, I never ever shake a senior medal at anybody, John. I'm sick of that. Anyway, let's get back to the real one, the big game, the seniors. Beamy should have done a bit better than that, John. He was on the break. He shouldn't have handballed. Yep.
Much flashy stuff.
It goes to show, John, that's a little bit of panic stepping into the game when you do them things.
Yeah.
But Yolla have won a free kick anyway, and it'll be taken by number 38. And that Jeff Rand was just come on the ground. He kicks towards full forward. Oh, nearly a good grab there, but he went through his hands. The ball's on the ground. They're fighting tooth and nail for it. Rockcliffe paddling the ball along in front of him. John appealing for a kick, and that's no good. Yep, he was appealing for the kick where he should have been trying to get the ball out to his mates. Cusack leads in the race for the ball, but it's lucks a fortune for Yolla for once. Comes off Barker's legs. Schumann forcing that left boot again. Johnny's been caught on it all day. Picked up by West Olsen, kicked the ball and it's gone out of bounds on the full, and a free kick will go to Yolla. Darryl Beamish, that's better. No, he should have kicked it. Johnny was caught with the ball, and he bounced when he was tackled.
Still in possession.
He's got it. Back to Rod Barker.
Good tackle from Cusack there, and they've lost it. Falling around too much. Burgess comes out of the pack. Hand pass. Long hand pass up to the half forward line. They get a kick away. West Olsen. Barney out's taking a good grab. Umpire wasn't watching what was going on. That was Brett that got the ball up to Barney out, and a good passage of play just there.
Yeah, Barney had no reason to lift the elbow then, because he could have jeopardised his own side. Then he could have had the ball taken off him. But anyway, he's shooting from 45 metres out, and it's a mongrel-looking kick.
Plenty of distance, but well off target.
Something you come to expect better from somebody who sells Peter ice cream. In fact, it's had a bounce on the full. Yolla, 32, playing West Ulverstone, 64. No score yet in this quarter, John. It's seesawing at the moment. Slatter, a nice kick out past the 50-metre line. Up they go. Nobody can mark the ball. The ball's on the ground. The umpire comes in and says, "Gives her here, fellas. I'll bounce her up." They haven't done a real bad job today, John. The umpires at the moment, there have been a couple of confusion ones, but they've let mostly everything go. That they're there and letting the boys play football. Anyway, she's bounced up. Up they go. Jock McCready once again grabs the ball. One of the many times he's had it today. Kicks it long towards the centre of the ground. Porter up, and that was a good punch away, John.
Good play, Porter.
Burton's got it. He run into his own teammate. Now Johnny Rockcliffe's decided, I'll take the ball instead of tapping along the ground, and puts it out in front of his forwards. Well done, whoever that was, but it's only here's Stumpy Clark across this side of the ground, John. He's come over to have a look this side now. He kicks it up towards Cusack, who gets front position and drops a sitter. Ferguson trying to pick the ball up, taps it out to Burton. Burton's pushed in the back. Drove into the ground. The umpire said around the neck. There was no around the neck there. It was straight in the middle of the back. Chris Burton. And he felt that one, John.
Very big kick.
Ferguson puts it on there, and look at that, straight down Stumpy Clark's neck.
Well, it looks like the wheels are falling off here. Yolla's playing well below standard, and West Ulverstone's playing slightly above there themselves.
And that's a great mark.
Good mark though,
Moward in between Slatter and Ferguson, pulled in an excellent mark there.
So if he can do a better job than Uncle Barney did short time back. Goes to the big talk.
And that's a good kick, Johns.
Into the goal square.
Barnes by himself, old Barney out the back, he couldn't get it. Phoebe, that about his third kick for the day. And then he goes and puts Saltmarsh straight in the middle of the back. Wasn't called for, John, undisciplined play.
Terrible.
Saltmarsh, John, will be 45 metres out. Especially on this ground, he might stretch it here to kick it this far, because it's a pretty big ground. But still, if he gets onto it with a bit of a breeze, it could go. In he comes. Kicks. It's not a bad looking kick. John is right to the teeth of the goal square. Goes over to back and 1 point. So West Ulverstone have opened up the account in this second half. 10-5-65, leading Yolla 4-8-32. Over to you, Johnny.
Slater should put this well up the ground, up towards the should be in the box seat. Pops the Phillips, dodges up in front of the pack, takes a mark and plays on, swings on with his left foot. Spears a pass into Chris Burton. It's muffed. Jeff Randall gets a wobbly punt kick up to the forward line. Adrian Burgess is leading in the race to the ball. Close to him to shoot. Terence stops, and the ball goes out and bounces into the Yolla forward line about 50 metres out from goal.
Nothing, not spectacular, as you said a while ago, Adrian Burgess, John, but my word, he's sufficient. My word, he is. He hasn't put it.
Punched out of bounds. I'll be trying to pull it again. Out of bounds drive.
It isn't.
Places the ball back in. Crick's going up to the mark with number 19 for West Ulverstone.
It's Mott again, John. Mott took the mark.
Mott, was it?
Yep.
Number 19 either. Mott.
30.
Good job. Good kick there from Mott. Towards the wing. Jock McCready up over the back of the pack. Spoils the mark. Ball's wrestled to the ground and is bundled over, along with a number of players. And the boundary umpire will throw the ball in again. It's not a bad tap out from Mott, but a shark by Jock McCready. Swings the ball over to Phillips, who gets onto his left foot, but kicks it straight into the...
Straight out, Stafford took a good mark then, John.
Burgess again takes a strong mark in the outer wing. Steady inside. He's looking for someone up forward. He's gone for a long kick. Up towards the Cusack and Rod Barker area. The ball's knocked to the ground. There's going to be another ball up.
The ball up on the outer wing, John. The game's at a stalemate at the moment. We're going down about 6 minutes and we've had 1 point, and that's just scored by West Ulverstone. And that's not a real good sign, as you said, for Yolla. The wheels might have fell off, but still you never know. Up they go. Nobody gets a tap down. A fish went in there, and it's going to be a free kick, and it's going to go Yolla way, and it'll go to, it looks like Phoebe. One of his few possessions for today, John. Phoebe kicks towards centre half forward. Out they come, nobody wants it. It goes through the pack. It's picked up by West Ulverstone. Handballs back towards the pack, and she's really in. At least they're in their fight, and Buckley picks it up, kicks it. Jock McCready again. Once again, ranges around, runs onto the right boot, kicks towards full forward. Terry Dobson, two Yolla fellas spoil each other then, John. Oh, and West Ulverstone have been prayed. Yes, and John, I don't know if you missed the incident. Adrian Burgess earned the free kick around the neck. He took off with the ball. This is the man that they give best on the ground last week, Tony Smith, who done the infringing then. And if I was Barney Howard, I'd be putting him in that little interchange box and telling him why. Because you don't need stupid things like that when you've got a handy lead, John. These are the sort of things that could turn a game around. Johnny
lines up on his left foot, makes no mistake.
Yolla 5-8-38, John. West Ulverstone 10-5-65. Can the Demons come back?
Well, they've got the potential to come back, but at the moment they're not really looking the goods. There's too many blokes waiting around for the easy ball to come out, or they should be getting in early.
Yeah, I was watching them there earlier on in this quarter when the ball was out there, and it's not very often you see the likes of Peter Johnson running around a pack waiting for the ball, but as you said, John, he's usually head in and backside up, but I feel that Johnson's suffering through that neck injury, and there's not much he can do about it. Anyway, they win the toss, and talk about Peter Johnson. Took the ball out and kicked it high towards full forward. Creek missed the mark. In goes Rockcliffe. Throws himself body on the ball, which he should have done, John. And this is better for Rockcliffe. He's earned.
And he's got a 50-metre penalty.
Rockcliffe has earned.
After the free kick was awarded.
There's a sense, John, when he was paddling that ball along there earlier on and couldn't get a kick twice, he's gone in for it and twice he's earned it. And I believe he was dealt pretty harshly then, but he's got up and he's trotting like all rovers. Knock them out, they get up, you ring an ambulance, and when they got a free kick, they beat the ambulance up the ground.
Made no mistake with that. This could be the turning point of the game, possibly.
Yolla, 6-8-44. Trailing West Ulverstone, 10-5-65. 21 points, Johnstown's a little bit better than 33.
Yes, and 40-point difference in the first quarter. They
Yep.
fought back pretty well. They should have the character to go on with this.
Well,
Taking a couple of big men, and probably Taylor and young Chicky would have made a bit of difference in this game, but they're not out there. Their places have been taken by someone else, and those other people have got left.
well, as I mentioned his name, Peter Johnson, and you said you called it right. Ferguson won the tap. Johnson got out, and the goal resulted. Up they go again. And they nullified that one then. Johnson again showing a lot of courage, yes. Over the top went Porter. He couldn't mark the ball. White's in there fighting hard, which he has done all day, this fella, number 14, John. And he's, yep, and he earned himself a free kick. White, an half-back flank, kicks towards the outer wing. A long kick. They set themselves. Mark Howard, a very strong mark in front of the pack. Rod Barker, John, hasn't done a great deal today for Yolla either. He swings around, as does Howard, kicks it long into the forward line. It beats everybody. Michael Marshall has done a good job since he's gone back in the back line, John. He passes it off to Phoebe. Phoebe is in two minds, you know, if to kick it or handball it. He give it to Rod Barker. Rod Barker feeds it off to Jock McCready, who was put under pressure. He was forced to kick it and just boot it, and it's going to be a free kick to Yolla. John, when they come out of centre half back, they should have got, Phoebe should have kicked the ball early.
Yeah, too much buckering around with it. They've awarded that free kick to the West Ulverstone player who was infringed with before the ball got to him. He kicks it long, and Mark Howard's taking another good mark.
Over the top of Barker once again, John. He's played on. Jock McCready unlucky, nearly got him. Mark Howard unloads with a long torpedo. Barney out in front. He was knocked away from him. Yolla are under tight defence here. That's not bad umpiring, John. He paid the advantage. Picked up by Miller. Miller kicks down towards the wing, and that's got to be a free kick. And he called play on. Jock McCready had his head taken off, John. No free kick. This is crunch time, and I think that one side's getting crunched and the other side's not getting paid for it at the moment. And here's the ball at centre half forward. It's picked up by Rod Barker. He pushes it back into the pack. Nobody can get out with it, and the umpire has finally said, Yolla, you've earned a kick.
Beamish is the recipient of that free kick.
I think there was a couple of heavy tackles out there in that wing before this happened, John, and I feel that Yolla should have had a free kick. Anyway, that's the way she goes. Kicked up towards centre half forward. In they go hard. The ball can't come out, and umpire French says, give her here, boys. I haven't had a look at her for a while. Yolla need to make something out of this forward thrust here at the moment. John, I can't get it out. My teeth are falling. Up she's bounced at centre half forward. Ferguson goes up and nullified it. In the back, but no free kick. Grabbed hold of by Phoebe. Phoebe's taken to the ground in a good tackle. No ball there. Picked up by number 38, which is Randall. Randall screws it back towards Creek. Creek's in front of the pack where he's... Phillips. Phillips gets around on that left boot, kicks it back towards Creek. He couldn't get it, but the ball eludes the West Ulverstone defence, but White's there to butter it up, which he's done most of the day for his side. Kicks it towards half-back flank. Porter goes which way, that way, and handballs out over to top the Mott. Mott set a fire onto the left boot, drives it down towards the half-forward line. Rod Barker leads in race for the ball, takes it, twists around. Steadies, puts it onto the left boot, squares it off to Terry Dobson. Dobson marks the ball, sends it back towards the outer wing. Peter Johnson in the van and marks for Yolla. Plays on straight away, handballs to Jock McCready. 30 kicks at the moment, John. Pass it down towards Creek, who couldn't get it. Johnny Rockcliffe with pace. He could get the handball over. He's run 95 metres, but John, he's brought him a light, lad. He's kicked his third in this term. Yolla. 7 golds, 8.50. West Ulverstone, John, 10.5.65. Can you sum up what's going on here?
Well, they're bridging ever so slowly. All started to back on there for a strong passage of play from Darwin. He put his body into the ball and won the free kick. Moved it over to Rod Barker. Rod Barker on to Peter Johnson. Johnson over to Jock McCready. And Rockcliffe and Phillips finished it off with one of the best passages of play from Yolla's point of view so far today. Ball back in the centre, ready to go. Big fellas are ready to go. They're starting a man. Burgess up in there. Jock McCready's on him. Nullified him a little bit. Burgess goes in hard. Collects Barker. Ball's in possession at centre at the moment by West Ulverstone. West gets the kick away. Howard to Howard. 2 on 1. Ball hits the deck and Barney's still in there struggling. Attempted hand pass. Terry Dobson's in the run. Kick sockers the ball off the ground.
They got the numbers, John.
Terry Dobson, they've got the numbers. Yolla's starting to look good.
West Ulverstone 65, John. Play Yolla 52. 13 points of difference. The ball thrown in by the umpire in the wing. Up they go. Peter Johnson. Putting in a great effort for a captain's effort, captain coach's effort. The ball's in there in the pack. Nobody wants it. Ferguson tries to get out. That man again, Jock McCready, couldn't get it. Outburst, and the free kick's been pulled out here, John, and it's going to go to Schumann, who wanted the ball. Schumann kicks the ball towards the half-forward line, long. Back and back's Watts. Over the top comes Cusack and near pulls in a screamer, but the umpire said play on. And it's handballed out of danger by O'Neill for West Ulverstone. West Ulverstone stopped John like they've been shot at the moment. Here's the ball thrown in anyway on the half-forward line. Up they go. Buckley punches the ball, gives it a big fist. It's out here on the boundary line and it's been run over the boundary again. No, it ain't, John. You can't see down there for the crowd, mate. There's a fist went in there, John, and it's going to be a free kick by looks of the umpire to West Ulverstone. It is Stumpy Clark. Stumpy Clark on the half-back flank or wing position for West Ulverstone. Kicks towards the centre of the ground. They're all up. Nobody wants it. It's grabbed by Phoebe. That's a good handball, John. Off he goes to the running Phillips. Phillips over the top of a handball. Probably should have kicked it, but that's a good handball. Back to Phillips. This will be a team lifter, John, if he can get around. Gets around and he screws it. What a magnificent goal. He brought the ball from the half-back flank.
That doesn't lift Yolla nothing, Will.
Phillips brought the ball from the half-back flank. He spooned it out to his teammate, who tapped it back to him. He took it on. Handball to top to Stratton. Stratton screwed the ball back out to him. Phillips ran towards the boundary and screwed a magnificent goal there, John. And Yolla, Ganao, 9-8. 8-8-56. West Ulverstone 10-5-65. Over to you, big fella, 9 points in her.
Yeah, well, they're starting to make a game of it. She's going to be a real ding-dong last quarter. Big fellas go up. West Ulverstone win the tap down. Beamish was felled when he wasn't, and there's been a free kick. Saltmarsh got a free kick.
Rode him in the back, John.
Good player, Saltmarsh for West Ulverstone. Good long kick in.
Barney Howard.
Barney Howard should have been paid the mark. Ball's been forced over the boundary line in West Ulverstone's
the pay credit to the umpire then, Johnny, was calling play on because I feel as I was touched off the boot or somebody had it before Barney grabbed her.
Because he had 2-3 real good grabs.
Yeah, the umpire was waving his hands if to say play on, so I think the Yolla fella touched it first. The ball's tapped out by Yolla. McCready couldn't pick it up. Burgess, who's died a little bit because McCready's took over on him, John. Took over from him, John. He's
Shot from West Ulverstone.
10 points of difference.
Back there, and there's another point for West.
Jock McCready has gone into the rover in position on.
It's a defensive rover in the centre bounces.
And he's took over from Burgess. Burgess played well to half time last week after missing.
He'll come back.
Oh, I reckon he's tied, John. There you go. I watched him last week and he died completely at the game.
Well, he's done a marvellous job so far.
My word, he has, because he had a very bad virus, he did, and they was worried there it might have been glandular fever or rheumatic fever, John, and no bad sickness to have. Anyway, up she goes. No, she's not over yet. Here's the man in question, Burgess. Battling in there for the ball, giving it all. Good handball out. He gets up again, John. Well smothered by the experienced Darryl Beamish. If we had binoculars, you have a real good look. Johnny looks very weary at the moment, Burgess, and so does Matthew Butler, who's gone completely out the game.
He doesn't have a touch this quarter.
Matthew Howe grabs it well out of the centre, bursts his way down the ground and laces the ball to the goal square. Punched well away by Stephen Smith. Backed up by Barney Miller. John, if I was counting Stephen Smith's kicks today, he'd have 5, but if I count how many times he punched the ball, it'd be 50 times, wouldn't it? My word, he's done a magnificent job. And look at this, John, they've got men out here to sell, and Rod Barker's moving like a snail.
He takes it pretty casual, Rod Barker.
He took it too casual then, John, because there was 2 of them on the hop then. They could have got away with it.
They've blown it.
Yep, and Phoebe's going to earn a free kick. Yes, it was definitely on that free kick. West Ulverstone fellow was holding him back from getting to the ball, John.
Lucky to get out of that. They should have been more desperate to clear it from the defensive zone.
Here's the ball by Phoebe up towards the wing. Ernie Stratton gets in front. Ernie couldn't mark. It was well punched away by Porter. But it's well rode by that man Phillips, who set him alight about 2 minutes ago. Darryl Beamish. Now they've got to shepherd off. They do, and that's a brilliant shepherd off by young Randall and Schumann. Kicked up towards Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe, he can get it. He's got the pace. He screws it back. Well done. Where would the ball bounce, John? You have to take over. I can't see the windows anyway. Adrian Burgess has been a very solid backman back there today, John.
Here's the thick of things up in the Yolla forward line up there. Rockcliffe's been dragged out of them.
She like pea soup, John.
The ball's been forced over the boundary line for another boundary.
And the first time all day, John, the Yolla people have put their hands together, and there's a big crowd of them there. There's about 7 or 8 deep they are. Ball thrown in the forward pocket. Grabbed by their coach. You'd have to call him Coach Captain Courageous.
Phillips takes him
Phillips.
On his left foot. He's in the right pocket for this set-shotted goal.
You'd have to call him Captain Courageous the way he's lifted himself, Peter Johnson. He was down over there holding his head 5-10 minutes ago, John, and he's bounced right back, and the last 3 goals have come from him, more or less, haven't they?
And there's another one.
And there's another one, as the big fella said, there's another one. Yolla are now 9-8-62. And they are trailing West Ulverstone at 10-6-66, and West Ulverstone has stopped like they've been shot. Barney Howard's pointing the finger, and I think he's told somebody to get off. And this has been their biggest problem too, John. I was told by somebody when the pressure comes on, they start arguing, and there's about 17 coaches blaming each other on the ground. So I just hope that doesn't settle into West Ulverstone, because they played a good game, and
Pretty good lead up to these finals, and hard matches. perhaps the toll's taken it. Well, the wear's taken its toll,
Yep.
perhaps, but
Here we go anyway, John. Out, they get it out. Phoebe's coming into the game. He kicks towards centre half forward. Slatter's up there at centre half forward, John, with a bit of good play too. He's throwing everything into it. Young Burton kicks, and here he is again. Man of the moment, Phillips, and a brilliant unselfish play into the goal square to Creek, who says we're in front, we're home, we're coming. Yolla, 10-8-68. West Ulverstone, 10-6-66. John, what great play.
Marvellous fight back from the Yolla team, and especially by Glenn Phillips. He's set him going up there. Him and Rockcliffe, and that kick from the middle from Phoebe, one of very few possessions for the day so far. They should be able to go on with it from here.
I believe, John, a lot of other people from a lot of other clubs would have been sitting here today, and when Yolla was down by 40 points, they would have had smiles that would have went from ear to ear. But my word, I tell you what, the smiles have been wiped away at the moment, haven't they?
They've got a long way to go yet. It's still
Oh, yes, she's a long way to go, but I'm still on a double, so I've got to come on West Ulverstone. Here they go anyway. Yolla into attack. Schumann, give it all he's got. Young Randall's done well since he's been on. Picked up by the veteran Beamish. Kicks a centre half forward and a safe mark, and a good mark taken by Cusack. Cusack kicks it out towards Brett, who's kicked a couple of goals but hasn't done a great deal since then, John. Brent Marks on the wing in front of Randall. Goes back, has a look. He's looking for somebody to move. And I believe their biggest problem is they've got no forwards that are moving at the moment. Mark out, a strong mark in front of Ferguson.
the only focal point West seem to have in this third quarter.
He kicks towards Uncle Barney. Up they go, Barnes, who has done nothing, John. Here he is, Mr. Reliable Stephen Smith. And there goes the three-quarter time siren, John. And we see Yolla, 10-8-68. Kept West Ulverstone down to one solitary point then, or a 10-6-66, John. They have had a 40-point turnaround.
Yeah, Marvel's come back from the Yolla side. There's still a lot of players there that haven't had much influence in the game. Those players should come into it in this last quarter.
Rockcliffe must have got the point over given to him early in that quarter, John. When me and you was watching him, he paddled the ball around. He was appealing for the free kick. The umpire penalised him for holding the ball. Then the next three goals he kicked was all doing one thing, was throwing his body on the ball and to receive the benefits of the free kicks, because he decided, well, I better go the way I've been playing all year and I want the ball.
Yeah, well, after that week rest they had while the preliminary final was playing, it might have taken its toll on the Yolla players. They come up fresh, but they're notably slow starters in these finals matches, but they should have the steam in the pudding to come home with this one.
They should have the initiative, John. They've got...
No disrespect for West Ulverstone there, they've done a mighty effort so far. They've done a mighty effort to get to the grand final actually, but they let things go a bit that quarter, and you can never ever underestimate a demon when you're back to the wall.
No, and as I said a while ago, John, the fat lady hadn't even put a dress on the Groughton stage yet, and she's still another quarter to go, and she ain't got the makeup on, so she ain't started thinking about singing yet. Because these West boys haven't got here by being slouches, have they? They've got here by fighting tooth and nail through the roster series, and at the fight, when Yolla gave them a hell of a hide in there in the second semi-final, was demoralising by 50-odd points. They went back, beat Somerset, and have come back, and they haven't let themselves down or their supporters, and are still not out of it yet. They're only one kick away from victory.
It's going to be a ding-dong last quarter in this grand final, and one of the biggest crowds that's been around for many days.
My word, it's been a big crowd.
Everyone's got their money's worth so far.
Well, you couldn't ask for better. The umpire and John at the moment, I was going to comment about...
Yeah, the umpires have done a pretty good job, but we'll have to leave it there. We might run out of tape for this last quarter. So
Right.
Just take a break.
Thanks. Just got rest on the ground.
Right.
Right, welcome back to the 1992 DFA Senior Grand Final. Johnny Newman, a big comeback by Yolla event.
Yes, they've done a good job to get back into this game and actually leading by 2 points. This is where the crunch comes in the vital last quarter.
41 points down the Grand Final, Jod. Some people, a lot of people, would give up open ear going, wouldn't they? But as you said, never trust the demon when he's got it back to the wall. He's only got one place to go, and that's forward. And umpire starts proceedings. West Ulverstone win the tap. Saltmarsh really attacked that ball then, John. Handballs it to Cusack. Cusack to Mark Howard. Mark Howard runs in, slams it gold. And no mark. I thought it might have been a mark or a free kick paid there to Barnes at full forward, but it wasn't. It went through for a point. John, 1 point the difference. Over to you, mate.
Shifted Ernie Stratton to full back on Barney Howard. And he gets a robbery with a punt kick in. Tony Smith breaks away with the ball, kicks it in towards the Scott bounce, but she's bounced through for a goal. Major 6 points for West Ulverstone.
A leg spinner would have been proud of that one, John. It broke about 4 foot, and West Ulverstone in the first minute have bounced back and hit the front. West Ulverstone 11-7-73, leading Yolla 10-8-68. John, do you reckon that last quarter effort might have took it out of Yolla?
I think they're just starting to run into a bit of form, actually. There's been a lot of players down there that's got to lift themselves, lift their games. I think they're quite capable of doing so. By the same token, West still in this with a real good show.
Yolla win the tap ad to centre. Grabbed by Phillips, who was the man who got him firing. He handballs at the man, the near BAG McCready, gives it to Purton. A poor looking kick. Schumann, I'm sorry. Poor kick. Rebounds back down the ground. Stephen Smith, always Mr. Reliable. Had about 6 kicks for the match and punched the ball 50 times out of the fence. Kicks it to centre half forward, and there's another reliable player in Burgess. Burgess gives it to Buckley. First time I've seen Buckley for a quarter and a bit, John. Back to Burgess. Burgess kicks it and has a good kick, John, out towards Brett on the wing. Brett touches the ball once. Goes around the outer side with a funny looking float and kick towards the forward line. Punched away by Rod Barker, but straight down the throat of Mark Howard, who's lifted in the first few minutes to full forward, and a great defensive mark taken by Ernie Stratton in the last line of defence. Stratton, look out here, John. He's got Miller loose and he won't look at him.
I don't think he'll kick across goal.
And here's a bad sign, John. A West Ulverstone fella down with the cramp.
And Burgess, I think, is it?
Yolla, meanwhile, are working the ball around the wing.
Tony Smith, it is. I think he kicked the last goal up there, that ground grubber.
Jock McCready was fell with a head-eye tackle then, and the free kick's going up the ground, and I believe it should go up the ground. It shouldn't have to go back there, John. He got ripped down after he kicked the ball by around the neck.
Brought it back.
Well, I thought that's poor umpiring then, John, because the man had already kicked the ball and had his head ripped off. And 99.9% of the time, as you know, it goes up the ground. Anyway, McCready gets up, recovers, and kicks long towards centre half forward. And that's a great mark by Burgess, who, between McCready and himself, will be a toss of a coin to see who's BAG. Passes off to Buckley, who leads well. Buckley wanders back. Kicks the ball towards Saltmarsh on a good lead. Saltmarsh just couldn't handle it, John. And Jock McCready, no, won't give a free kick to Saltmarsh. I didn't see what happened there. But
He signalled that someone legged him, but I didn't see it.
as we said, John, he's a lot closer than us, and he passes off. And that's Stumpy Clark out there, John. I don't know if he's coming in out of a car or something over there, but nobody seems to want him. Disputed mark, recovered by Brett. He swings around on the right boot, kicks towards his coach Barney Howard, grabbed by Stephen Smith, is it? Handballs it, he's forced handball at Whitehall. Peter Johnson was legged in, he got it the wrong way. He's picked up by Cusack, and a woeful shot of gold. Over to you, big fella.
Yeah, should have done better there. Stratton will put the ball back into play for Yolla, around the opposite side of the ground. He should kick long.
That's probably the worst place to go.
You'll have to take it back and kick over the mark. You can't come around like that.
Yolla John, 5 points down. 73, plays 68.
All important last quarter if anyone's game. Got her up the wrong end of the ground though to score with. It's a good long kick from Stratton. Ball's punched by a group of players. Comes down to Randall. Quick hand pass by McCready. It's intercepted by a West Ulverstone player. He hooks it over. Poor attempt to mark by Marshall, but he recovers well and gets his kick away. Phillips leads in the race for the ball. It's 2-on-1. Phillips breaks one tackle, bounces, breaks 2 tackles, bounces again. Got to get a kick in.
And look who's by himself, Slatter.
Into Slatter, the fullback.
And John, from here where we're standing, you could hear Rockcliffe calling him on and tell him he was clear, have another bounce, and then he put his hand down and said to him, steady. And that's what you haven't heard much all day.
We won't worry too much about that.
It's on over here. I don't know what it's on between. Young Marshall let it go. Ernie Stratton's gone over there and pushed him away and said, get out of it, lad. He said, I've pugged a better man than you. There's the most important thing, John. It says 6 points. Yolla back in front, and it wouldn't be no strange place for Slatter because he has played full forward early in his career at Yolla, John.
Yes, he's played noted as a full-back because of his good long straight kicks, and I think he might be just the man for the job up there at the present time.
Well,
Barney out down there might be a bit too strong for young Ernie.
well, I don't think so, because Ernie went out there and stopped that brawl and give them all a bit of a what for, and Ernie's the man who's probably the man to go down there to stem the tide, I reckon, John.
He's a bit of a lad, he's got a fair size, but anyhow, back to the centre. West gets the tap down. Smith comes through but misses the ball, and there's a bit of a skirmish out there. There'll be a ball up.
I believe Darryl Beamish has got to tighten up over there in that Stumpy Clarkley man. He's been on all day there, John. I'm not picking at Darryl.
He's done a pretty good job. Stumpy's fair sort of a player, and he's made position there fairly well.
Maybe he should be tapped, John. Anyway, here we go. Everybody up punching everywhere. Stumpy Clark, the man I just spoke about, got the left boot to it. Up they go. Barnes near all to scream it in, John, in the pack. He was well tackled, and the umpire has let the play go on. Barney Howard going towards it. Rod Barker's moving about as fast as a rat with a rope around its neck at the moment. He's done nothing really, John, Rod Barker. He's got a lift. He's an experienced player, Rod.
You've got to be hungry for these big ones.
Mark Howard takes the ball out of the ruck. Handballs towards the boundary. And Yolla are even getting more desperate now, John, and instead of being one outside the pack, there's 3 or 4 in there now fighting for the ball.
Well, that's where they should have been from first bounce, but anyway, they've come back. They've done a miraculous job. They've had a good recovery.
West
the ball now.
West might have caught him on. Here's another bloke who's picked his game up, Phoebe, and that's up the ground, John. That's getting a bit stupid, isn't it?
We'll take this kick. Let's put Yolla well within scoring range here. There's only another good mark. They're one out in the goal square, Burgess and Slatter.
Here we go, Johnny Rockcliffe.
Rockcliffe with a good strong mark.
This is where West Ulverstone got to be careful now, John, because blokes like Ian Walker has hardly had a kick, and this is where he can swoop in and kick 3 or 4 in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Here we go, Rockcliffe runs around on that favourite left boot of his, screws it back. How wrong am I going to be, John? Oh, Slatter. And did you see waiting in the back of him?
Yeah.
Was little wacky Walker, but it didn't come out. I reckon Rex Frank has now picked the false teeth up, John, and kicked it 50 metres, and he's thrown the rheumatism off that right knee, wouldn't he?
Oh, Rex will be pretty cool at the present moment. I reckon he'll probably be a bit nervous, the same as the rest of the Yolla supporters, but they've done a good job to get back into this game. They lead by a point at the moment. Slatter's a very good kick.
The spectators have been pushed back. That's a bit stupid when you've got to tell the spectators to get back, John, but the boys have probably had a bit of the old Vogue vinegar in them, wouldn't they, today? They've been pretty well behaved, the crowd. Slatter, bang, gold, and Yolla, 7 points up, Johnny. He's at the end of West.
No, I don't think so. She's not over yet. Still got a fair way to go into this last quarter. There's a few people walking around with their heads down at the moment, but I think they'll lift.
Well,
who wins these next couple of 3 tap-outs.
I tip Yolla, I tip Yeoman, I tip West Ulverstone, John, but I'm not a man to go behind anybody's back. I think the fat lady's about to put the petticoat on and slip the dress on. She's about to roar.
Too early for that.
Oh, the signs are there, John, I think. The signs are there. Phoebe's picked his game up, which is very important in the centre bounces at the moment. Up they go. Nobody really got the ball. I thought Ferguson could have got a kick then. Handballed out by that man again in Shane Burgess. Here's this boy. He's put a bit of gumption into the side too, that young Randall, John. He's a goer. That's a good handball out by Creek. Over to Johnson, up the full forward, Slatter. Here he is, the will-o'-the-wisp. Can he get it? No, yeah, dodge and weave, and he's fighting for it. Out it comes. Whack Walker couldn't get the boot to it. And there's a free kick and it's going to go to way. Yes. He rode into the ground and it'll go to that man, Wacky Walker. I named him well. No, it's not. It's going to go to Chris Burton. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter who gets it. They're well within striking range, and it's all important shots for this.
Burton can only kick the ball 25 metres, John, but he's only 16.3 out, so I reckon he should nudge her through from here.
With that, he should make the best of it.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he has kicked a point, and that's a bad miss, John, at this time of the match.
Yeah, crucial goal, that one.
Yolla. A 12 golds, 9.81, leading West Ulverstone, 11.773. 8 points, John, and it's a big quarter now. Yolla really got the tails up. They're all going for the mark. They all want the football, and that's a good sign, John. Ball goes towards the wing. Barney Miller has not put a step wrong all day. Fighting for the ball and still going for it.
Only man going for the ball on that particular occasion.
And his coach, Peter Johnson, comes across to congratulate him. And why shouldn't he? Because as you just said, John, you're on the head then, the only man who wanted her. Up they go. Tony Smith didn't want the ball, he wanted Peter Johnson, but you can't kick Peter Johnson. Umpire comes in to bounce the ball, and umpires, John, I think, have done a pretty good job. They've let the game flow. There's a few decisions probably early, but
First quarter was a bit erratic, but they've done all right. They've let it go, as you said.
they stuck by their guns, haven't they? They haven't gone against the flow of what they've been umpiring. Here we go anyway. Watts, who's been quiet. Off the Phoebe with that Bart Simpson hairdo. I don't know where he got it from, but by geez, he shows out when he comes through with it. And Yolla.
Phoebe had Slater there on his own. He had to chip it over, and it would have been another certain goal.
Well, he'd have no excuse having hair in eyes, John, because he's got a bowl cut. Here we go.
The bowl cut, if that cost him the game.
Porter brings the ball back into play, kicks it to the 50-metre line. Oh, Potsy Phillips should have marked that. Jock McCready, but well smothered by Tony Smith. Good defensive work. Go unnoticed those smothers, John.
Yeah, just as good as any kick.
Yeah, but that's where you can put Daryl Beamish down for a few, because my word, he doesn't mind throwing the body over the ball. Here we go, in the Yolla's forward pocket, the ball tapped down to Smith. He has a casual run. Phillips misses him. Has another bounce. Comes around the wing, passes off towards Saltmarsh. 3 on the 2. Saltmarsh fell over. It's 3.
Then from Miller to spoil that mark.
Up towards Buckley. Buckley drifts back in, couldn't mark it. Watts, who hasn't been sided much. But here he is again, Phillips. The ball on the back of his shirt. And once again, it's well smothered. And that time by Adrian Burgess. Over to you, Johnny.
Burgess smothered that kick. That was a definite run on there from Yolla. Boundary umpire puts the ball back in. Big fellas go up to the ball. Both missed it. Phoebe knocks it onto McCready. Jesse Randall's caught to the ball. Burgess quick hand pass out. Smith gets a good left foot kick in. He got it too far. Yes, he's out of bounds on the full.
That bloke about 4 rows back on the bike track can't have the shot, John.
Real handy that, throwing the ball away from the player. Good football support of that bloke until he Barrett's ball.
He probably got a quid on West, would he? Each way. But
With the kick in, up towards the correct position, and Johnson, they all spoil one another.
Tony Smith.
Tony Smith again. Good play, Tony Smith. I think he was the boy down with a cramp a while ago. They must have some good linemen over there at West Ulverstone to be moving about like that at this low stage of the game.
There's Mr. Reliable, but my word, he muffed it, but he's been well backed up.
Just out of the back line. Puts a long kick in. Peter Johnson's in the wagon. Yeah, good mark.
Good mark. Camp right under it. Gutsy mark, John. Gutsy mark.
Carrying an injury, Peter Johnson. Showed a lot of character to remain out in the ground. Good long kick over to the centre half forward position. Rockcliffe was in the best spot over the back. Fell over at the crucial time. 3 on the 1 over there. Yolla should make something out of this at the present time. Flicked her out. Tommy Sherman come up off the back line. And Porter takes a good safe mark in the last.
Hello, over here. John, there's a brawl, and that was a bad bit of work by number 20 O'Neill, who run up and punched Phoebe in the back of the head, Van, and he's been booked for it, John.
Yeah, Jeff Randall's been booked.
Or was it Randall yet?
Yeah, Randall's been booked for striking back. I think I didn't see the rest.
For Randall. Here we go. Stumpy Clark slung off the ball by that. Oh, and that's a punch in the face there, John. Stumpy Clark has hit Jock McCready right in the face, Van, and for no reason at all right in front of us. You watching the game, John?
I watched the game and I just saw Shane Burgess kick the ball over the Porter, kicked it backwards and went through for a point.
Well,
I think the goal umpire was on the ball.
I hope the camera work showed that, Van, and them umpires can sit down and have a look what they was looking straight at, Van. That wasn't called for. So anyway,
Been a bit of spite in this game, but anyway, that's the way some grand finals are played.
as Jock would say, have a look at the scoreboard, boys, and wait. Here we come. Porter kicks it long, out towards the boundary. Up goes Cusack, nearly all a good one, run into his own teammate. That'll be a free kick to Smith of West Ulverstone, who, as you said, John, was down with a cramp, but showed a lot of courage. He's got up and he's playing well. Onto the left boot, he kicks towards
Checking there by the Yolla
Mott.
players are starting to run out of puff.
Mott with the ball. Didn't give himself enough room, but he's kicked it high towards the wing. Well punched away once again by Stephen Smith. Stumpy Clark thought he might have had to pick it up and he might have got a bit of his own back, but he kicked it off the ground. In comes Adrian Burgess. He's a good battler and he's going to get a free kick, John, because he wanted the football. Adrian Burgess right in the diddle of the Wivenhoe ground. Kicks it towards his big number 19 in Mark Howard, but Mark couldn't get out. Comes Uncle Barney. Uncle Barney screws it back. It's not a bad effort, but she's only 1 point, John. Yolla, 12-11-83. A lead in West Ulverstone, who are 11-8-74. 9 points in it, John. And not much time left, I doubt.
Big turnaround from quarter time.
My word, 40-odd points. Out comes Ernie Stratton. And a beautiful pass and a good lead by Glenn Phillips. Phillips has been a great play for Yolla today. Inspirational at times for him. Oh, and you give him a rap and they go and do that to you, John. It's kicked off the ground by Cusack. Goes to the outer side of the ground. And in the lead for the ball is Brett. And Brett picks it up, kicks it into the forward line. But there he is again when he's required, Stephen Smith.
Starting to steady down a bit, the Yolla players. I don't think they're far enough in front for that just yet. They've got to get it up in the forward line and get another couple of goals in.
Smith passes in, and a uncontested mark really there, John, by the big man himself in Fraser. Anyway, here we go. Peter Johnson's got the ball, John. Oh, he was caught with the ball. He had a bounce, John, and he was nailed as he bounced her. Stumpy Clark, with the ball. Chips it in, but he gives it straight to Dane Phoebe. A poor kick, John.
Yes, should have made something out of that.
And Dane Phoebe has been dealt out a little bit of treatment, but he's got to take his time. Get up. Have a look around. This has been one of the better grand finals we've seen in a long time, John. Yolla has stood him 40 points and now 9 points up. And here's this Smith again. He's really lifted his game after half-time, this little fella. He's got a lot of courage. Players look very tired, John, no doubt, because there's been a real struggle.
Hard physical game. Crick wins the tap. Undecisive tap down. Young Smith again, over to Phoebe. He'll get his kick in. Not a very good kick, but Rockcliffe's leading in the race for the ball. He overrun the ball.
White.
Hand passes it over to
O'Neill.
O'Neill over to Porter. Porter's in trouble. Back to O'Neill. O'Neill gets his kick away and they're going straight across the other side of the ground. They're still in with the show, yes. The ball's in. I think the ball's been forced out now. No, it's still in play. Those big wide boundaries over there leading up the players forward. West got the ball forward there now. Beamish has laid the tackle on West Ulverstone. Player can't quite pick him out from here. Comes back to big Ferguson. Ferguson knocks the ball out. Fairly physical sort of stuff. Not pretty football, but they're going in as hard as they can. Cusack takes the saving mark. The centre for West Ulverstone. That's his style of play. He plays that kick behind the game and beats the ball in there. Long kick up towards centre half forward. 81 by Mark out. Ernie Stratton comes out from the back line. Gets a good clearing kick. Phoebe's in the race for the ball. Bounces properly for him. Lucks a fortune for the Yolla players. Rockcliffe. Yeah, trapped the ball well. Scooped it back with his left hand. Swings onto his left.
Slatter by himself.
Slatter looking pretty. Can't lose.
This is where Porter does come undone. Then Johnny come out here for no reason at all, and that's twice now he's left Slatter by himself. And yep, well, you live by the sword, you die by it, don't you? And he's been probably done it all this year, and twice in this quarter he's been caught out. So you give the good with the bad. My word, he has. But he shouldn't have come out then. Slatter, bang, gold. The fat lady John has just taken the stage and ready to take the first breath. Yolla 13-11-89. Lead West Ulverstone 11-8-74. And ladies and gentlemen,
the first quarter of this match would think you was telling lies if you told them.
Well, you'd think people would say you'd been talking to Bushy Garland or somebody, wouldn't they, John? This has been a great match. And I think football's been the biggest winner here today. In comes umpire French, bounces the ball up, they go. One by Ferguson. Ferguson got it down to Phoebe. Phoebe across to Watts. Watts, one of his few, kicks down in the goal square. Slatter wrestling with the ball. And well done, Porter. He knocked the ball across the front of the goal and had a bounce on the full. And what Johnny Newman said, he's been a great player for West Ulverstone. Great players have been bred all day, been here all day today. There hasn't been many who hasn't given what they can. The ball in the goal, Yolla's goal square, wrestling for the ball, and the umpire said, give her here, boys, I'll throw her up. O'Neill had no chance. And you'd have to be a brave umpire to pull a free kick there, John.
Probably only 5 or 6 minutes left in the game. I can't get attention to the goal. The timekeeper's up there. He's got his eyes firmly on the football and the time clock. West clears the ball out, but it falls from his arms to Tommy Sherman. Tommy swings onto the left foot, sets it up. Sets it up, but I think he kicked her out on the full. Wasn't a bad effort from the young fella, but I think he'll have to improve a bit on that.
How long to go? 10 minutes left.
West Blues are out. Good mark taken out there on the half-back flank. 50-metre penalty. Must have been felled after he'd taken the mark.
15 points of difference, John, and we've got 6 minutes remaining on the time clock, mate. So we've seen sides can kick 4 goals in 6 minutes. Can West Ulverstone get up, Johnny?
Cusack's back into the action.
No, good mark, Miller.
Barney Miller's starting to run a bit, these Yolla players. They're looking the goods at the moment. West are still battling on strongly. They're trying real hard, especially young Smith. Number 18 for West Ulverstone. Been a good player, good goer all day. Phillips wins out on this occasion. Shoots the ball across towards the centre, and Burton's taken a good mark on his chest. Kicks it short, over to Watts. Too long, over his head rather. Watts runs round the boundary, he's nearly out of bounds, goes for the screw kick, and he's kicked a point. It was a good try, but I think he probably should have made a bit more room and probably sorted someone out like Rockcliffe that was standing out in front of the goal.
He had Rockcliffe and Randall, both of them was all by themselves then, John.
No
But
time to be here, sort of things. You've got to play as a team.
But I suppose running towards goal, all you can see is think of the goals and try and pop one through for your side.
Well,
Because
he's had a bit of practice. He kicked over 100 for the year, so I suppose he thought he might have made it 100.
yeah, Wilbur's been one of those blokes who'll pass the ball off to you if he has to since half time.
Since half time.
Gives it off to,
Adrian Burgess.
and he's cramped up again.
All cramped.
Yep,
He's in a bit of trouble.
here he comes, kicks the ball.
Burgess up towards the centre. Pack of players formed down there. Comes out to Jeff Randall. Jeff Randall's got the Smithy. Stephen Smith.
Yes.
Flatter.
Bang.
Forward, put away your glasses.
Who are we going for?
Burgess.
McCready.
Just 9.
McCready.
Okay.
Yeah.
McCready. Miller.
Oh, Phillips, I think.
Phillips, yeah.
What do you reckon?
And here's another goal, kick by Slatter. Slatter has kicked Yolla's 14-12-96. West Ulverstone 11-8-74. And we have the president of Darwin here, and Danny, has been a big turnaround.
An amazing performance by Yolla to come from 40 points behind and still 32 behind at half time. It's a fantastic effort.
As John and I were saying, Danny, that there wouldn't be many people standing here at the ground who'd think, well, 40 points is 40 points and that's it for the game.
Except with Yolla, I'd never write them off. That's something that other clubs have learnt over the years.
Well, the big fella said here at half time, he said, never trust a demon when he's got his back to the wall. Well, he's proved them right there, so he didn't coach them for years for that, did he, Danny? What are we doing?
Ferguson wins the tap out. Decisive tap out to Johnson. Flicked it over. It's gone down to the pack. Craig's got the opportunity to pick it up. Rockcliffe, ever reliable Rockcliffe. Left foot screw kick. Looking for Chris Burton, who's muffed it. Man of the moment, Slatter. He's let the play go past him, and the ball forced out on opposite side forward pocket in Yolla's forward zone.
John, we must be behind time because the fat lady's just singing Ave Maria. She's all over, I reckon, ladies and gentlemen. But I'll take me hat off to West Ulverstone. They come out here, John, and we could start nearly summing her up, I reckon. They come here. They served it up to Yolla, but not the way a lot of people thought they would. They served it up to Yolla by being first to the ball, kicking goals and playing good team football. But as you said, and as I just said to the president, you said to me at half time that you never trust a demon while he's got his back to the wall because he's only got one place to go, and that's forward. And they've come out after half time and they've played the game that West Ulverstone played before half time, but only just that little bit better. And I take my hat off to both sides for a great game. And plus, I'll give full marks to the two men in white who have done an excellent job.
Yeah.
And that's, I reckon, about the only way you could sum it up. With you could probably point out one player really from each side who's really stood out for 4 quarters, and that's been Burgess of West Ulverstone. That's Shane Burgess. A great game. And Jock McCready, the coach, the captain of Yolla. And I'll chuck in a special mention to their coach, Peter Johnson, because he's been down, he's had a bad neck, but he's come back and he's fought on well.
Turn around here from the Yolla boys. They start to run away with this now. I think some of the West fellas realise that Time may be against them. There's only a couple of minutes to go there now. Some of the people are leaving the ground here. Some of them fairly disappointed, but
Yolla, John, 15-12, 102. West Ulverstone after half-time, John, have kicked 1 goal, 1, which is a sad story, I suppose. If you're a West Ulverstone supporter, if you're a Yolla one, you'd be laughing, or you wouldn't be laughing, but you'd be happy. And West are 11-8, 74. And I look down towards that goal in Yolla are kicking at the moment, John, and I see quite a few of my other younger players down there, and maybe something watching what's going on might rub off on a few young players around this ground today. Never throw the towel in, mate. Never throw it in.
well, she's been a hard-fought match, and every player out there has earned his stripes today.
Well, we'll give our votes, John. We give 3. If we're doing 3, we'd give 3 to Burgess of West Ulverstone, that's Shane.
Burgess, yeah.
2 to Jock McCready of Yolla, and 1 to Potsy Phillips of Yolla. Them,
set up the turnaround, and he was the main instigator in why Yolla has come out in front.
Then you can have a look at another bloke down there too by the name of Barney Miller. Barney has never put a foot wrong really all day down there, has he? And that young Smith, you called him early in the quarter for going down with cramp, but he's picked himself up and courage has kept his legs going, I'd say.
Rockcliffe takes another strong mark.
Come back after half-time. John's 3 goals in the third quarter. After that, paddling around with the ball and realised that he had to go and get the ball. And he's, you could say more or less, he's cut him the ribbons.
Yeah, he's had a good last quarter, as have most of the old players. They've lifted themselves.
Rockcliffe, if he looks here in the forward pocket, I know it's all over, but yes, he has now. Phillips, he didn't even have to kick it to him to mark it. Runs in, bang, thanks for coming. And I tell you what, as he kicked it towards the grave end of the ground, I could near see the people who died in 1892 rise up and say another one for the Demons, Johnny. They've woke the dead, they have. This is one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in a long time in football.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job.
And they've turned it from a 40-point deficit, John, and now they lead by 5 goals 4, which is a 34-point. They've turned around a 80-point deficit, these fellas have. And my word, that's a big change around, isn't it, in a football match?
Yeah, in one game, it's a marvellous achievement. They've done pretty well.
They've done it in 2 quarters of football too, John. And here's the man, their captain, their coach in Johnson. And this fella up here, he hasn't done a bad job with West Ulverstone. He'll be kicking for his 5th goal, Barney Howard, and not a bad effort either.
He's done a pretty good job all day, Barney. Good, reliable footballer.
The other man who deserves a mention, who stood cool in the crisis, John, has been they're ever reliable and probably one of the best centre-half backs in the Darwin in the last decade and a half, and that's Stephen Smith. Stood tall, stood in the crisis, just kept punching the ball away. He never panicked. He didn't try to take big speckies, and he's wore his man down, and he's helped knit that back line right into a good combination when it really counted.
Barney's kicked the last goal. West Ulverstone probably have time to kick. Only a couple of minutes left, if that.
Yolla 16-12, 108, John. Leading West Ulverstone 12-8-80, 28 points. And we're in the dying minutes of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Not many people have left, John. There's a few holes where the cars is, but the crowd's still thick and fast. And I reckon you'll find that when this siren goes, those Yolla spectators over, John, are about 6 deep. They'll tear onto this ground. This will be one of their memorable grand finals, I reckon it'll have to be.
Yeah, she's been one of their good fight players. We've had a few out here over the years. I don't think they've ever found themselves 40 points behind at 40 times since about 1976.
And there's the siren, John, and the 1992 winners are Yolla. And a magnificent victory, mate. West Ulverstone fellas slumped to the ground. Young Smith, they are disappointed, but people such as Buckley, who have been under the microscope by a lot of people, is walking over there, John, like a true gentleman and shaking hands with every Yolla player that's standing there. And every West Ulverstone fella is, and this is the name of the game. And well done to the men in white too. Yes.
Hard physical game, and been one of the most memorable games of Darwin football that you'll ever see. I'm sure the crowd all enjoyed themselves, and they're all streaming on the ground out there, and we'll take this opportunity to leave, bring the camera out to the presentation area and see if we can get a few shots of the cup presentation.
Yeah, what really took place was, John, they had trouble between the camps during the week with suspension and players and that, but as you just summed it up, the siren's gone, and for the people to see it, I'll see it on the video, which our lady up above has done a great job, and I'll find that both these sides are standing here as one because it was a great effort, great for Darwin football, and football won out today. Thank you.
Up the back of that truck there, is there going to come up on there?
Stand up.
The player who's awarded the Snakes medal for best on the ground in the grand final. I'll just pause a moment while the man himself, Trevor Snooks, our life member, comes forward in order to present it. The ground in the grand final is named. I don't have the medal here, of course, Trevor. We present that at the annual dinner, but we'd like you to shake the hands of the man who's been named by the experts as best on the ground for the Snooks medal. There's Shane Burgess. Congratulations, Shane. Obviously, you must have had a top game to be chosen for this particular award, especially in a losing side. All the best, mate. First of all, I'd just like to thank our fellas. I think our fellas battled it through, and we're the second best side. We deserve to challenge Yolla. Well done, Peter Johnson and the whole team. He's played well. He's fought it out. We thought we had it won. You showed us we never. And I hope you celebrate hard. I know we will. That's all I've got to say. Thanks, fellas. Coach of Yolla, Peter Johnson. Very much.